Welcome to We Geek Podcast. Today is February 10th, 2021. My name is Adam, and as always, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What's up, man? So how's your week been?
It's, another week, more work,
Yeah? Playing any games or watching anything?
Okay, so yesterday, I took the plunge and said, you know what, I got a guy at work who won't stop talking about Final Fantasy XIV, and it sounds really interesting. So
Okay.
it's like, all right, fine. I know they've got a new expansion coming out later this year. There's like the base edition plus the first expansion has like a free 30-day trial. It's on PS4, soon to be on it's going to be on PS5 in a couple months as an upgrade. So, all right, fine. What the hell? I'll take the plunge. I started and I nowhere again. Got absolutely nowhere. Yesterday, enjoyed what little I played, and I was gonna play more today. No, hang on. 2 days ago. This was 2 days ago. I don't know. Time is a flat circle. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
But last night, today, my stomach was just like, hey, you know how you have to like commit long periods of time to an MMO? Yeah, you're not good. You're not gonna do that. I don't know why. I don't know why it hates me so much. But so I thought, okay, fine. Well, you know what else I can play? I can play Final Fantasy 15 because that you can pause.
It's true.
And I remembered, I was like, I know I started this way back when and actually tried to get somewhere. So I was like, but I'm going to start over again because I have no idea. Like, I couldn't remember anything. And so I pulled up the save file, and it's hilarious because it's dated like 12/16 of 2016.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow,
Jeez.
okay. I have not put effort into this in like 4 years.
Wow.
So I think, because I started last night and I've been playing today, and I think just in the last like 24 hours, I've gotten to the point or maybe slightly past where I was. But honest to God, I couldn't have told you where it's like, oh, I'm at this point that it says was my last save. I don't remember doing like half of what I've just done the last time I played. So yeah. I'm glad I started over because I knew that I did not remember a damn thing.
Yeah. Well, damn.
And I can't think of anything new that I've watched movie-wise. No. Yeah. No, nothing new.
Well, I've been nothing new here either with movies, but I've been going through the MCU. And
that's today right. How far are you?
Today I finished Civil War.
Oh, nice.
And, oh man, it holds up.
It does.
Like it's just so much better seeing it all the way through and then going back and checking out all the little moments and of course all the little WandaVision moments in the especially in Civil War. Watching now WandaVision, like all leading up to that, and it's so good. Like seeing them introduce Spider-Man for the first time, and it's even Ant-Man. Like just setting all this stuff up is so fucking cool. I love it.
Yeah,
I've been having a blast going through it all again. And yeah, I think last time we spoke was Age of Ultron, so it's only been like 4 movies since then to catch up on, and I forget what the next one is after Civil War. I forget which one that was. Maybe it's Black Panther.
I think it's Black Panther. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's Black Panther. I'm gonna have Guardians 2 and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, and then of course the big ones, Endgame and whatnot. So I've been powering through those, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like I've actually enjoyed the shit out of watching them. So much to the point, I shouldn't say sometimes while I was working, I was doing, I just couldn't help but watch them like, oh, this is so fucking cool. But yeah, I've been having a blast doing that. I have gotten back into WoW in a big way. I've been playing with a lot of my friends. We've come back. We've now made our own guild. And we're just, I've now completed I got to level 60, so I'm capped now. But now I'm doing the dungeons and getting gear, grinding up for the raid. We have BlizzCon next week.
Oh God, yeah, that's right. It's Blizz, isn't it? And didn't they decide to do the awful thing and call it BlizzConline?
They did, yes.
I
Yeah,
hate it. I hate it. I appreciate it, but I hate it so much.
yeah. I'm glad they're still doing it.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
I
absolutely.
think it's going to be free online. I don't like every year that there's the hey, pay $50 and you get to watch it and you get all this in-game items for all your games. I think this year's free, so everyone should be able to watch it because it's very much community based.
Yeah.
I, I've read rumors online not to expect um, uh, Overwatch 2 this year, not to expect Diablo this year, just to kind of get that out of the way before BlizzCon. I'm assuming they'll show whatever the next big patch is for Warcraft, like what's
Yeah.
on whatever the next big patch is. Usually they add a land or they add allied races or some or a raid, something in it. So that will be interesting. I'm sure they'll show more of the new Diablo game. There'll be stuff like that, but there probably won't be a release date. Maybe we'll get a release date, but don't expect it this year. And Hearthstone and all that stuff. But apparently, like it's going to be community focused heavily, so they're going to have like costume contests and all sorts of Q&As, all sorts of stuff like that.
Nice. Very cool.
So that should be cool. But yeah, I've been having fun, kind of jumping back into Warcraft and that kind of being the game that I've been playing. I'm still going through Valhalla. Stuff, just to have. Oh, in comics too. I've been reading some comics. I'm trying to get back into X-Men. So I'm going through that. What is it? The Hickman's run,
Okay.
which it's been going for a couple years now. So I think it's just was it House of X and Powers of X is his first volume. It's like 12 issues.
Yeah.
There's like 6 of House, 6 of Power, and then it branches off to like Excalibur and all those issues. So I've because watching the MCU, I've jumped heavily back into comics and reading them now, and like even talking to my buddy, my buddy Rocco, his goal is to collect all of the what would you call them? All of the not premiere issues of Spider-Man, but like the big hits. So, for example,
I get you. The what do you like the milestone issues
the
or the
milestone issues and like the first appearance of so and so villain,
marquee issues. I think is
marquee
probably
issues.
a good word.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
First
So
the villains of this, or something like the big stuff. Yeah, I get you. I get you.
yeah. So he's got first of Electro, first of Rhino.
Damn,
He's
that goes
got
back.
Yes, he's got all these firsts. He's got a couple of Spider-Man 300s, first Venom.
Yeah.
And he was asking about X-Men because his friend was trying to sell some X-Men comics, and I'm like, dude, I get back to me when taxes come because that's when I could actually get something. But I don't know. I've been back into comics really heavily, and I'm kind of like, I want to jump into something. I know the X-Men part of the universe is absolutely where I'm going to be heading. The Avengers stuff doesn't look too interesting. There's a lot of DC stuff coming up that sort of looks interesting, but I think I'm going to be diving heavily into Hickman. So probably by next week, I'll have a lot more to talk about when it comes to comics and X-Men and stuff like that.
Nice.
But yeah, ever since I started watching the MCU in review, I'm like, damn, I got that itch again. Every once in a while, I'll go through the Star Wars, I'll go through the X-Men, I'll kind of like go back and forth. Did you real fast? I don't think this is in the news, but did you see what's going on with Pokemon and McDonald's?
I had seen something. And the headline I saw was that McDonald's Pokemon cards are sold out because of scalpers, and my response was just, I'm sorry, what now? Like,
it sucks, man. It's not just scalpers; it's like YouTubers in general.
Oh, fantastic!
That's causing a problem. Not just at McDonald's, but like if you go into your local Target or something like that, right now you can't find Pokemon cards because it's like it's like a big trend on YouTube now for YouTubers that obviously have a shit ton of money to just go buy all of them and open them up on camera so that you can watch them open them. And so like now imagine being like a teenager or a kid where you're like, or even an adult where you're like, hey, this is my hobby. You go to the store and you literally can't buy any because a YouTuber it started with the Paul brothers, right? Like apparently they've
Oh God,
opened
of
up a
course it
shit
did.
ton of Charizards, or they have challenges where they're like, we're gonna buy 100 boxes, and it gets ridiculous and more ridiculous and more ridiculous, and apparently you legit can't find Pokemon cards right now because of it. Great for the Pokemon company, sucks for the people who actually like collecting them.
Yeah,
But yeah, apparently these McDonald's was like, hey, 25th anniversary of Pokemon. We're gonna do a deal with McDonald's where you can go there and get cards, and it sucks for kids or anyone that wants to go there and like be like, hey, I wanted to collect these. You like legit can't get them now.
great.
Yeah, so that sucks. But I don't know. I saw that pop up, and I was like, well, maybe I'll go get a McDonald's, but I don't know if it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, no, turns out no.
Right, right, right. I'm wondering if, like, in non-big cities, if that's even an issue. Would it be like I can't imagine in smaller cities they're running out of that too fast.
I tell you what, I will find it. I'll check around here tomorrow and find out because
Yeah,
I would be in exactly that kind of market.
yeah, yeah. So I imagine I get why they're doing it. I get why these people are going out and grabbing them. These kind of things do become collector items
Yeah.
for McDonald's toys or whatever to actually have, because apparently they're like legit Pokemon cards, and some of them you can only get out of this McDonald's deal. So
And what's the
those are
what's
the
the deal? Is it a Happy Meal deal
Happy
or?
Meal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough.
Yes. Yeah. So they're 25th edition Happy Meal cards that apparently you can only get out of this. So these are the kind of things that these will be worth a lot of money down the road. These are the kind of things that however many years down the road, they're like,
Maybe.
it's Pokemon. It's actual cards too. See, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
but how many like giveaway things and stuff are not actually worth all that much?
But those are the ones that are worth a lot though. Like let's say there was a special giveaway at Pokemon Celebration 10 years ago. Those are the ones worth hundreds of dollars on eBay because they are the ones you can only get this card during this occasion, and then that's it. And they're marked, the 25th edition. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like when they did cards for the movie the first time. They did that set. It was what Pikachu, Mewtwo, Dragonite, and what one or two others that I can't remember offhand.
Yeah.
They're not worth all that much, I don't think anymore. There
I
was
think like
I
the let's see here. Mew Pokemon 2000 is worth $349 on eBay.
Yeah, but I don't think that was the same. That one,
Pokemon 2000, that's the one you're talking about, Ancient Mew, right?
no, not the ancient. Well, that was the one they sold with the.
With the ticket.
No, 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 no. That one was sold with the video. I think that wasn't one of the ones I think that went with the ticket.
Ancient Mew.
I know the one you're talking about. I can picture it in my head, but I don't think that's the one I'm thinking of.
I mean, some of these show cheaper. Like, it's crazy. Some of these are $500. Some of these are $20.
Yeah,
Pretty much
because I
average
remember that ancient Mew, and it wasn't all that great. I'm looking at the
Let me do sold items.
I'm looking at the other set. It was Electabuzz, Pikachu, Mew, Dragonite, Mewtwo, and Arcanine, which I thought was a strange mix, but okay.
I guess the ones. Okay, so these are sold. $494, $111, $350 for a set of 10 of them.
And this doesn't seem right. I don't think I'm looking at the right thing either exactly, because they were cards, and some of them are, but they're specifically stamped on their Pokemon the first movie. I don't remember the Arcanine. That one confuses me. But there was only a handful.
Pokemon movie promo card set of 4: Electabuzz, Dynamite, Pikachu, and Mewtwo. $80 for those.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Those were the ones that were sold with the tickets, I'm fairly certain.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Those are worth a bajillion times more than regular Pokemon cards, though.
They're $20 a pop. There are plenty of halfway decent and not entirely rare Pokemon cards that'll run you $20 right now.
I guess.
You're
right. Those would be $20 a pop.
Yeah, that's not all that crazy, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
I get what you're saying. They're going to be more valuable than your average everyday Pokemon card for
Yeah.
sure, but I don't think they're going to have, hella resale value.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like right now people are selling packs on eBay for about $5 to $10 a pop for these McDonald's card packs. A shiny Pikachu is fetching around $60 on eBay. So you're completely right. I agree with you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how do they. Uh, I almost think they do this obviously on purpose. They want people to frantically try to get these.
Well, I mean,
That's the whole point.
well, yeah, supply and demand.
Yeah. I feel bad for the people that are like, hey, I want to get this set.
Yeah.
Or the kid that like really wants to collect these.
That's the thing. That's who I feel bad for. Like, I don't really feel bad for the adults who want them, or even the teenagers. I do feel bad for the kids.
Right, where they're like, I'm going to get the Ben 10 watch instead from the McDonald's meal or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh well. Yeah, go to McDonald's, see if they got a pack.
Yeah, around here maybe. This would be the market to see whether or not,
Oh, sorry, before this leaves my mind, and I need you to remind me.
Go for it.
I found a couple volumes of Ultimate Spider-Man I need to send you.
Okay.
I have some like duplicates.
Oh, nice.
Somehow. I don't I think when I ordered like 1 through 13, I already had 2 of them.
Okay.
So I have no use for it. So I need to send you that. So
nice. Hell yeah, I'll take them.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to completely derail that, but that just reminded me of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, go to McDonald's, see if you can get a couple packs. I'm interested to see what they look like.
If they have any. I remember when they gave out cards for Detective Pikachu. They had little packs of, I forget if it was like 4 or 5 cards. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
But they were kind of neat. I didn't recognize any of them. I don't think.
Oh,
there might have been a guy. I think I remembered Bulbasaur, and I think that was honestly the only one I recognized.
Yeah, I've also gotten like heavily back into Pokemon Go as well.
Nice.
This yeah, the last couple months they're doing like Road to, what is it? Hoenn? Hoenn's the original? No.
Kanto's the original.
Kanto's the original. That's it. Road to Kanto. So like, basically every couple of weeks they have a new region, and there's specific shinies, and then they have the legendaries. So I've pretty much collected all the legendaries in Pokemon Go, because I'm in like some group with like there's like 12 or 15 people, and it's become a problem because I've constantly buying the remote raids so I can join into them, but like I need those a part of my collection.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. I've been out walking, exercising, collecting these things, and dude, they've gone through basically all the generations they've released on Pokemon Go so far. Then they're doing Kanto, and it's you buy like this $10 pass or something, and you pick either red or green. And for I think it's next Sunday, they're going to have, depending on which one you pick, I think I'm going with red, they have those specific shinies. So like all of the Pokemon that came out in Pokemon Red exclusively are going to be shiny for those people.
Which was Scyther and Red. No, hang on. Red was Electabuzz and Spearow and Fearow, I think.
Let me take a look. Let me pull it up. I can give you the full rundown.
And I know there's a couple I'm missing. Like, I know it wasn't just those, but I remember those.
Yeah. So let's see. It looks like it's the original 3. I'll show the ones Red has. The original 3.
Red. Okay, I got Red's. Red's exclusives were Sandshrew and Sandslash, Bellsprout, and of course Weeping Bell and Victory Bell. Meowth, and of course Persian, Vulpix, and of course Ninetales, Pinsir, and Magmar were apparently the Red exclusives.
Oh, well then maybe they're doing it differently. Because, okay, so this is red and green. Maybe it was only Japanese that it was this different. So like Electabuzz is red shiny, Magmar is green shiny. Pinsir is green shiny. But like Drowsy is red shiny. That kind of deal.
Okay, that's weird. And I'm also like I found a list that has a completely different list of
Mm.
what was exclusive.
Oh.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, Growlithe is red exclusive for shiny, but like Meowth is green exclusive for shiny. And I think they're doing red and green because obviously that's how it came out in
That was
Japan.
the original. I think what I read. I think actually what I read was the blue or the blue slash green exclusives. That's what I did. I
Gotcha.
read the way this was set up. It's just it was written backwards.
Right. No worries, no
So
worries.
red exclusive was Ekans and Arbok,
Hmm.
Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume,
Yep.
Mankey and Primeape, Growlithe and Arcanine, Scyther and
Hmm.
Electabuzz.
Yeah, so all of those are on the red, and then a lot of the other ones are on the green. So yeah, so that
Yeah,
makes sense. And there's also a bunch of other stuff that comes with this pass, like uh, it says here, test your trainer skills to complete the special research to encounter a shining Ditto. There's also a few things. Basically, you go through Pallet Town, Pewter Town. They have specific Pokemon throughout the day. Every hour is going to have different types of Pokemon, the ones that you would, I guess, encounter throughout that game. And then they have like a Masterwork research thing that you have to get level 40. You have to platinum Kanto, which means you have to collect all 151, which I do have. You have to collect 30 of each type. You have to spend 153 unique signs, walk 341 kilometers, and to catch a shiny Mew encounter or something like that. There's all this crazy stuff attached with this, so I think it's going to be fun.
fair enough.
I'm excited. And it's not something that ends at day 2. Like that big quest lasts, you know.
Yeah,
It stays on you until you complete all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm having a blast with Pokemon Go. So that should be fun. That's next Saturday. So probably gonna go to one of the parks around here and do that.
nice. There you
Yep. I'll be fucking dead when I get back. I'll be so tired.
go.
Yep. Um yeah, man. So yeah, that's all I've kind of been up to. Just been kind of, like I said, I'm literally trying to quarantine until we get this vaccine. Trying to do everything I can not to be around people and keep myself busy. Um, yeah, I saw that there's going to be a lot more vaccination places here in Florida soon. Publix
I was gonna say, good. It
around me.
won't just be Publix then.
Yes, Publix around me just opened up. Oh, that reminded me. I should have looked this morning. Damn it. Oh well. Way too late now. Fully booked. Yep, of course.
Well, yeah.
Oh man, I forgot to set my alarm. Oh well. I'm assuming, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that in a couple of months it'll be way more open. I think right now only elderly and people who work in health a facility or whatnot can do that.
Yeah, it's been pretty much the same in North Carolina. They've just opened it up to teachers and basically school workers, teachers,
Yeah.
lunchroom, all that stuff.
Well, I called my doctor because I have like some underlying conditions, you know, and I'm like, hey, what do I need to, like, when am I going to be able to get this? And they essentially told me, you can go get it now. No one's going to stop you. I didn't understand that. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I don't need a doctor's note. They're like, no, you have underlying conditions. If you went to one of these places and you signed up for it, they're not going to turn you down.
Huh.
I didn't know how to react to that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. I go online and I literally can't find a place to register because it says they're all booked, but I might just go book it and see because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I thought it was only elderly and whatnot. And they're like, yes, that's who they prioritize, but you have underlying conditions, you would qualify for someone with underlying conditions, someone with a health reasons to get it,
Huh.
and they're not going to turn you down. And I was like, okay, well. And then they told me, I guess there's a place here. Well, you've been here. You know what the Oviedo Mall is.
Yeah.
They were giving it to people because I guess some people didn't show up to their appointment, and so they were walking around the mall getting people to sign up for it. because it would go to
Okay,
waste.
so
They would have to throw it
oh
away.
yeah, that's fair.
I
Yeah,
guess there's like a time period on it or something like
yeah,
that. So
there is. Yeah,
granted, it was just a couple, but
yeah, but still, because
right
where
place.
people wandering around the mall, and you got somebody who's over here trying to get you to buy T-shirts, trying to get you to buy a cheap ass drone, somebody who's trying to give you the COVID vaccine. Like,
Yeah,
just
right place, right
what the
time.
hell?
I'm like, man, are you kidding me? And the thing is, I'm sure people go there and bug the crap out of them all the time too now because they've heard that news. So
Oh yeah, God, I'm sure.
yeah, so hopefully, dude, I would love to go back to a movie theater and sit, have some popcorn, and not have that in the back of my mind the whole time.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I want to get vaccinated before like Kong vs. Godzilla comes out, before Dune comes out. These
Well,
big movies.
well, Kong is in a month. Dune is in 10 months, so you're fine.
Yes. Yeah, so I think I'm good for Dune, but man, I
Yeah.
really want to see Kong vs. Godzilla in a movie theater. So,
Yeah.
and the problem with Florida is like no one's taking it seriously.
Nobody
so if I
cares.
went to the
Yeah.
movie theater, yeah, they're just gonna be willy nilly in there. So
Yeah.
not messing around with that.
Nah, that's the fun part about working in a movie theater. I can just wait.
Yeah, that's true. You can just at the end of the shift, you guys can put it up there.
Yeah, once they've come out, it's like, oh, okay, cool, it's out now. So
Yep.
now we'll watch it.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's always fun. You know who else has free time to watch movies now? Gina Carano, thank God.
Yeah, man. What?
Took too long. Took too damn long. I get it that after everything that went down with the pronouns, and then there was a statement, she talked to Pedro Pascal, and he explained why it was important, and she backed down from that, and they were like, oh, okay, fine, see, this is a teaching moment, and then she just found other ways to be a trash person. So, don't.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, and I saw a lot of people talking about James Gunn, and it makes sense. I think everyone's on the same page that they jumped the gun with that one.
Yeah, but there's a wild difference between the two.
Right, exactly. That like, hey, that was him 8-10 years ago, and he's grown as a person and changed.
And took full responsibility
exactly,
for those past statements too. And admitted, yes, this was dumb, this was bad. I am a better person than I am now, but it doesn't excuse that this was crap.
Exactly.
Whereas
she doubled down and just it was like, imagine shit posting yourself out of a multi-million-dollar deal with she was straight up getting her own television show with Disney Plus.
I would strangle children to be involved in Star Wars. Okay, like this is a golden ticket opportunity. This is something that people dream about, and she just threw it away because
it's a shame too, because she had a strong female character, like a badass character.
Yeah,
and it's anyone would dream to have that role, to have that impact, to be that kind of icon for kids everywhere, especially little girls, and to just throw it all away. I don't know if they'll recast her. I'm sure they'll put someone else in the show that is just as well, character wise or what. I guess we have Ahsoka now, but it's such a shame. It's such a waste, and it's the whole thing is just trash. And it, like you said, it's long overdue. It's okay, you get one strike.
Yeah.
We get it. You're learning from, didn't learn from it. 2, 3. Now it's so many strikes.
And
now.
then it was, well, be anti-mask. They don't do anything. Well, science says otherwise, and you're in a science fiction show, so at least learn a little actual science, maybe. And then it became and then it became conspiracy theories, and it was just like, oh my god, what next? Oh, being conservative now is like being Jewish during Nazi Germany. Yeah, you're gone. Goodbye. Get out.
Yeah,
that was
absolutely
that they couldn't. Like, I'm sorry, but when you decide to be that just horrifically stupid and anti-Semitic, you gotta go. You're done. You're out. Goodbye.
Yeah. And she wasn't just kicked off the show. I think she was dropped from her agency.
Was she good?
they like
It's one thing to have differences of opinion, but when
right,
you're anti-Semitic, when you're bigoted toward trans people, when you're
right.
peddling, anti-science garbage that's getting people killed, that's not a difference of opinion.
Right. Yeah. No. Exactly. It didn't like to think the argument that they don't like her because she's conservative is ridiculous.
Yeah,
There's plenty of conservative people that are not nightmare people.
yeah.
What's his name? What's his name? Chris, the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, don't bring Pratt into this because he's
That's my point. Is that he's conservative, but he's not a nightmare person.
he borderlines sometimes. The church he goes to is pretty gay bashing.
I haven't seen a thing that he said
It's
that
and
is
that's
anywhere on this level
and that's there's
of what
and
these people
and therein
are.
is the line is he hasn't been a trash person, but
I saw people making up things that he said too, and it was kind of ridiculous.
and
I
that
guess those are the
yeah.
situations where it's like,
And that's the other side of it. Like that's garbage. Like
right,
like that's something don't do. But also look at who these people are. Like I have no problem
right,
that he has faith. Good for you.
right,
But when when you go to a church that is somewhat notorious for how much it hates the LGBTQ plus community,
see, I didn't know that. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
that's I'm not too big on that. But
Yeah, I didn't see any of that. I guess my point was that there are plenty of conservative actors, plenty of conservative people. No one is going after them being conservative. It's them going after them for, like you said, being transphobic, being conspiracy theory people, being anti-Semitic. That's the shit that the mouse is not going to play with.
Yeah, and that,
Yeah.
but like I said, it's Star Wars. There are 12 million people who will line up in an instant to take your place. Goodbye.
Oh yeah,
Like
absolutely.
you won't be missed. You're not, oh my god, what are we going to do with this void on the show? We'll bring in another character. Well, who are we going to get to play them? Anybody.
Right.
There's literally everybody would jump at a chance for this.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
goodbye, good riddance. And again, it sucks because yeah, her character was a boss. Like no doubt. But
Yeah.
fine, bye. See ya.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's a shame. It's such a waste.
yeah, it's a big
But
galaxy. We move on.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Yeah. So
but it's it's just it just makes me crazy. Like I understand difference of opinion and this and that. You might not
mhm,
like somebody and whatever, and you might not like their politics, and this comes from both sides. And yeah,
right.
don't get me wrong. People on the left aren't perfect either, but we didn't try to storm the Capitol and kill the vice president. So
Right.
there's a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Exactly.
you know, if the people on the left did that, I'd be calling for them to be out too. Like I don't.
Oh, could you imagine if people on the left did
Oh my,
that?
oh my God in heaven! The cries for literal blood would just
Yeah.
it would be insane.
Oh
But
yeah.
my
Yeah.
my
It's
point.
been wild. Have you been watching the trial at all?
I watched some of it today, and it's just I don't
The footage of
understand.
like Omni running and oh my god, like
I don't understand how so many. It's what 44 senators
mhm,
voted that this trial wasn't even constitutional to begin with. They were coming to kill you. They were not going to be
right.
exceptionally picky about who. Yeah, they had they you can obviously tell they had a prioritized list, the vice president being at the top of it. The vice
And
president who is a Republican, who is a conservative that is genuinely problematic himself because he used to be considered the far right before all
mhm.
of this nonsense came along. But
Oh yeah, anyone they felt was a traitor,
yeah,
the progressives,
oh, they were. I mean,
yeah,
there's the top of their list was Pence, Pelosi, Schumer, and AOC.
right,
Like that's
yeah,
that's who they, and then whoever else they got. But I mean, they were not going to be tremendously picky when it came to the GOP. And I mean,
right,
they themselves in affidavits given to law enforcement have made that clear.
Yeah.
They have said this themselves, the ones that have been arrested and arraigned and what have you.
Well, what this shows, obviously, and the whole thing is the trial. I mean, the jury is heavily weighed on in Trump's favor with these Republicans.
Because they need 33 nay votes. That's it.
Right. Well, and the
Or
problem
four,
moving
34.
forward is this is going to set such a dangerous precedence
Yep.
that in your lame duck period, knowing that you're out of office, you can literally get away with murder.
Yeah.
And it just depends on who rules the Senate if you're going to get away with it or not.
Yep.
That's all this is going to set, unfortunately. I think we all know how this is going to go, even though the evidence is just incredibly going one way. It's not going to matter.
No, it's
they're not going to budge. And I don't know. Hopefully, the only thing that's actually going to change is if people vote these people out. And I have a feeling a lot of them won't, just because they're not even paying attention to this. They saw that their cousin or aunt or someone shared some QAnon thing last week, and that's all they believe.
Yeah.
They're not paying attention to this. They think it's a witch trial, and then they're going about their business, and it's so fucking gross.
It is. And the thing that I saw today that actually it just sums up how completely ridiculous this is all the way around was that it is some cosmic bullshit that the fact that the Trump-led violent insurrectionists not succeeding in killing people in the Senate is what's going to leave enough votes for Trump to be acquitted.
Right.
And that just, nothing sums up how completely beyond ass backwards this is than that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's insanity to me. And there's no, when there's no accountability, what happens in 4 years if he decides to run again?
Right.
What happens if next time around he says, I want another bite at it?
Right.
Like the madness, I don't even want to think about it. It terrifies me. It genuinely scares me, not because, not from a left or right issue, but because this is just insanity.
Right. Hearing what was it was Jamie Raskin who, him talk about it, how he just had to bury his son and his family was there that day, like the day after, and they had to like hide and he wasn't with them, and he promised them nothing like that would happen again. And they're like, Dad, I'm not coming back to the Capitol. This is insane. And it's so true. It's who in the right mind would feel safe there again?
Yeah.
Knowing that this was a failure on all levels. And it was almost seeming like it was set up to be that way.
Well, and we had the letter. We had presented, a couple of weeks ago, I think, the letter from the then acting Secretary of Defense, who outlined everything that various law enforcement under federal authority was not allowed to do that day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's why they didn't have backup. It's why they didn't have riot gear. It's why they were standing there with bicycles in front of them, and that was it. I mean, these were people who were not allowed to wear bulletproof vests or helmets or engage in any way and not be given any backup. This was set up that when this would happen, everything would fall. Yep. And I guess there's some comfort to be taken in seeing that the whole attempt was to make sure the electoral college results weren't certified, and at the end of the day, that objective failed. If there's any sort of silver lining to take from it, it's that Congress bounced back and went about their job.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, that's a real faint silver lining to take from all this.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know how we move on from this. It's just... Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Olympus Has Fallen was not supposed to be something we could look back on as almost a documentary. That was not how this was supposed to go.
I mean, we legit almost lost not only a branch of Congress, but our vice president. Yeah. Or a branch of our government, I mean. Because everyone was there. This was like everyone was there.
Yeah.
And it is such a disaster. And the way certain people have tried to brush this under the rug just a couple of weeks after it happening, as if it was not a big deal, it's insane to me.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. I think more people died there than they did in Benghazi, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's where, AOC's making it all up. Like, it's absolutely crazy how they're talking about it.
They wanted Bill Clinton not just impeached, but convicted and thrown out of office because he lied about an affair.
Right.
No,
right.
Where nobody died, but oh my God, he lied to he was unfaithful to his wife. What does that say about how he feels about the American people and his duties as president? Are you kidding me? The same people that champion that are saying, so the president incited an insurrection that would have killed a bunch of elected officials.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, Moral of the story is Ted Cruz can eat a dick. Like, that's pretty much all I've got on that.
Well, let's get into some more entertaining.
Let's talk about happy things, like the fact that Netflix has announced they are developing an animated Redwall feature, and okay. I am beyond hyped for this. There was a show a number of years ago, it was a little animated show a number of years ago that adapted the first book, but it didn't air much of anywhere. I think it was Britain only. It was just I think it was BBC. But I think it was only in Britain, and you might catch some of it on PBS, but it never got any play. But Netflix saying, you know what, these books were big, so let's, they're going to do a feature version of the first book, and then what they're calling an event series, which I always hate phrases like that, based around Martin the Warrior, and I'm here for it. Like, I'm very excited. I think this is fantastic.
Oh, these are like mice and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I've ever seen anything with this, but that looks cool.
Oh man, go online to a library or something and find the first book to read. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm looking at them.
Yeah. And it's a long series. Like, they've got hella material they can work with.
Oh yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah, but
I'm looking at here. That's cool.
But no, they are really, really good.
I am down for fantasy series.
So them adapting this, I mean, it's knights, but with mice and hares instead of people. Like, it's
right.
It's badass.
That's cool.
But excited for that. Very excited.
Yeah.
And in interesting, some other switching gears slightly a bit. Stacey Osei-Kuffour, I think I got that right. I hope I got that right.
Yeah.
Who was a writer on Watchmen, the HBO series of it.
Right.
Is writing the new Blade movie.
Cool.
So I am excited. I'm always here for, not white dudes doing everything anymore.
Yeah, no, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, totally.
You got a character like Blade, and I mean, look at Watchmen. Look how fucking awesome that show was.
Oh yeah,
this is perfect.
Yeah.
She did Hunters on Amazon. I've been wanting to check that out.
Okay.
It's the Nazi Hunter show.
Oh, that was okay. Yeah, that was with Pacino, right?
Yeah, Pacino. Yep.
Yeah.
Never got to it, but I definitely want to check that out.
No, yeah,
2 seasons.
Yeah, I remember I used to see that was one of the ads that played in the theater all the time.
Yep. Oh yeah. But yeah, that's perfect for Blade. That's
Oh, that's gonna be. Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
They announced the title for the Sonic the Hedgehog sequel today. It's gonna be called.
I still gotta see that. You kept telling me to see that. I still gotta see that.
Have you not seen the first one?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, you really do need to. It's genuinely a good movie. It really is. You are in for a treat. And Jim Carrey as Robotnik, he is Jim Carrey. He is a return to old school Jim Carrey, and it works.
That's what I love.
It's very good. It's genuinely a good movie. And I love the tweet was about just how much thought and effort put into it. It's called Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah.
Because, why not? And it got I say official release date. I'm going to say it got its first official release date, because God only knows what's going to happen in the next year, of April 8th, 2022. So it's going to come out next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
Uh,
I saw the little tease trailer. I love the music.
yeah.
It's straight from Sonic 2.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But, oh yeah. No, dude, definitely watch the first one. It's absolutely worth it. It's what, an hour and a half, not maybe a little over.
Yeah.
It's absolutely worth checking out.
Yeah.
Damn, I want to watch it again now.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
It's very good. It's an hour 40, and I think that even includes credits. So
Yeah.
definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Speaking of other movies, and this one, if it comes out when they say it will, it'll be a good time for it. But I'm not holding my breath. The live action Resident Evil origin story film that they're doing, not the Netflix animated movie, but the live action origin reboot that's going to have the characters that we actually know for a change, has wrapped filming and comes out September 3rd of this year. So they say. So they say. Look, if Capcom can at least make one decent movie this year, that would be great.
Yeah.
I know technically Monster Hunter came out last year, but, time is just a ball of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. But yeah, because Monster Hunter was trash. It was absolutely horrible. And hopefully the Resident Evil reboot is not. That would be nice.
The new game looks amazing.
Yeah, Village.
I was watching Hassan Piker play it the other day, about a week or so ago.
Yeah.
And it looks fucking spooky.
It is. It
looks so
really
spooky.
is. I played what's the name of the demo? Maiden, I think is what they called it.
And
okay. It's a short tease. It's a fairly short demo.
Yeah.
But you have to forget, Resident Evil, it came, it's like, well, it was zombies, and it's like, yeah, but it hasn't been for a long time. You have to make peace with that, because this one is vampires. Yep. So it's like, oh, okay, we're doing this now.
I think there's werewolves in it too.
Probably, if you've got vampires, you might as well have werewolves.
Yeah.
They've had. I mean, hunters are, not that far removed from being a werewolf. So I don't hate that. That's not a big leap.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. The first person bit of it, the way they're following up from 7 the same way. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's going to be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrifying. I don't ever want to play 7 again. It was good. Don't get me wrong. It was a great game. I just don't.
I've only played a couple of hours.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
Maybe I'll figure out a way to hook up Twitch or something. I need a camera.
Yeah.
That would be a fun game to play through it. Like a million years later, no one's gonna watch.
Yeah.
But it's that's one of those games you want to watch someone play. I played as well, but
yeah. And I mean that's the thing with Village coming out here later this year. Like I think you could say like, hey, I'm gearing up for Resident Evil 8, so I'm gonna play 7 first time through. Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
But no, it definitely. I'd watch that because it's terrifying. It really is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. A side note: I just saw they're bringing back High C Orange to McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shit hits so good.
Yeah, and it's different, and that's the thing. Like it's one of those things that's different from regular High C Orange.
Yeah.
Because there's, I mean, it's. I don't know. It's one of those things you can't explain. It just is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's.
Man, sorry, I didn't mean to derail, but fuck.
No,
I'm excited. I guess I gotta make a trip to McDonald's for these cards and Orange High C. But yeah, man. So anyway, Resident Evil. Yes, I maybe I'll go back and play that because I only played a couple hours and it was spooky as hell. I loved that it was just such a revamp of the series. Like you're in a house, you're contained, spooky as hell. I think I'm in, dude. Yeah. I'm definitely getting this new one. It's so good. Looks so good.
Yeah. In odd news, you knew it was coming. A Wizard of Oz remake over at New Line.
Oh,
Nicole,
okay.
yeah, Nicole Castle, who was involved again with the Watchmen series,
Okay.
is slated to direct. I think she directed the pilot for Watchmen, and then I think like two or three other episodes. Like she was really involved, especially with the with the look and everything. She was big on the visual side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But so okay, I mean it's time. The last one came out 90 years ago. I'm okay with them deciding to make a new one.
Yeah.
I'm not as married to it as some other people are. I know there's going to be a lot of, why did they remake this? The original one was this and that and the other. It's like, because that was 3 generations ago. Get over it.
Yeah. Well.
Like they're allowed. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Other movies that I don't understand why people are making, but boy, they're making it. The Dungeons and Dragons movie got 2 new cast members. We talked about Detective Pikachu. They're getting Justice
Well, hey.
Smith.
I don't think Dungeons and Dragon had a good shot yet. I think if made right, it could be like the world of Dungeons and Dragons could be fucking epic.
Yeah,
if
but
they
I don't
did it right.
I don't think that's what they're doing with this movie, though.
Oh, it's a shame.
I don't, and I'll tell you why. Because it's being helmed by the people who did Game Night.
Oh, see, no, you don't do that.
I'm just really curious to see, like, they might be going that way with it. They might be doing something different with it. I don't know. But I will say this, man. Game Night was a damn good movie.
Yeah, but I don't know. I get it. They want to do like almost like a Jumanji type thing, I guess, or Game Night. But like, I don't know. Like the world of Dungeons and Dragons and like what is it, Neverwinter Nights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If any of these AT&T, I hate that I have to say AT&T, not like HBO, but like AT&T or Disney or any of these big things, if they had the rights to that, they could have their own Game of Thrones. There is so much lore and history in those realms that they could have their own giant fantasy series. I get it, they're going to go for the Jumanji type movie, which probably make a bunch of money. And I'll probably regret saying this, just like I did with like Detective Pikachu. But man, it's a shame they're not going to, if they don't go the route of like, hey, let's take this a little serious and let's do like a Game of Thrones type thing. But like what's his name? Joe Magalano or Magaletto? What is his name?
Manganiello.
Manganiello, yeah. He would be perfect in a movie like this. He knows his shit.
He's the one that got this ball back rolling again. Like talks had stalled on this for years.
Oh, okay.
And
changed my mind.
He went to bat hard on getting this rolling again. I don't know if he's involved in it or how involved he may be with it.
Take back what I said.
But he's yeah.
If maybe he's not involved, but if he did help get this going, I take back everything I said because that's the kind of direction I think they should go in. But I would love to see more Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But and then of course the Borderlands movie adds someone new to the cast every week. I don't know. I don't know enough Borderlands. I don't know anything about Borderlands, honestly. So I don't know who anybody is. But they cast Kevin Hart last week. They cast Jamie Lee Curtis as Dr. Tannis this week.
You could tell me Danny DeVito is in there for John Roberts, and I would believe you. I have no idea who any of the characters.
Yeah, those were just never game. Like I really did try, but they didn't interest me.
Yes.
But I know it's crazy and ridiculous and wild and whatnot. So hey, you know what? Go for it.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
Shifting to some TV news, HBO Max had a bit of a day today.
Oh yeah.
Just a little while ago, we found out Pedro Pascal has been cast as Joel in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
It's a good day to be Pedro Pascal, isn't it?
It really is. Now, let me ask you real fast. Do you think this is going to affect The Mandalorian, how they shoot it and everything else?
I don't think so because I think when push comes to shove, Disney wins.
Disney wins?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And plus, I have to. Well, my thought process is it's going to be a second before they shoot another third season because they have Boba. They're shooting Boba right now. Do you think we see Pedro without his helmet on now moving forward? Or do you think he'll mostly have it on?
I think no. I think he still keeps it on because I think if you have him taking it off more and more frequently now, it cheapens it.
See, I didn't know if it was like, okay, we've now ripped the Band-Aid off. Everyone sees his face. Now that he has made that jump to, hey, that's not the way anymore for me. I think we still get him without his mask on a lot more now, just because that's happened. But that's why I guess what I was thinking is his schedule could be a little bit more open if he's not on set every day for The Mandalorian, if that makes sense.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see how all that pans out. I mean, The Last of Us, like there's a lot of pre-production work still left to do there too.
But that's what I was wondering. Like, can someone balance two big shows?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, hell, Pascal was doing The Mandalorian and Wonder Woman 84.
But those are movies. That's what I mean. Like, can someone do like these shows last like a year to shoot, right? Like,
films take anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, but it's not as long as shooting a 10 episode season.
No, but I mean, you still have to balance. Hey, when do we shoot these 10 episodes, and when do we shoot this movie in different locations on the planet?
Right. I guess what I'm saying is that a TV show is a way bigger commit, so that's why I was wondering. I mean, like, can we think? Is anyone right now have two major shows running at the same time?
Oh, I'm sure I can find somebody. I'm sure there's more than a couple people. I don't keep up a lot with TV, so I couldn't tell you offhand.
Yeah, like I totally get doing a show and then a movie, and then you come back and you do the show, but I just two big shows at once just seems like a lot on one place. I guess what I was getting is do you think this either puts back The Mandalorian or we just see less of it?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. And also because they're also not... You got to remember, again, we're talking about 10 episodes. And filming doesn't take as much time as things like pre- and post-production do. Most of what's done, especially on a show the scale and the scope of something like The Mandalorian, is going to be pre- and post-production. And also The Last of Us, and again, like you said, Mandalorian is what, 12, 13 episodes? The Last of Us is going to run about the same. So this isn't... 8
episodes.
8 episodes. See, there we go, even better. But,
it's less, yeah.
Yeah. But that's my thing, is that it's not going to take... It's not as big of a time commitment as it used to be. You couldn't do, like, 2 full-on, here are 2 shows in the fall schedules, because they all shot at the same time. No, you couldn't have been on... you couldn't have done something like Grant Gustin on The Flash couldn't have also starred in, anything on it. What's on NBC? Superstore or something. That that couldn't have happened.
It's funny you bring up Superstore. I heard about that show for the first time this week.
Oh, because they're having some giant finale?
I don't know. I just saw it on Facebook. I was scrolling and I was like, what is Super? It's like, there's a store about, is it Walmart? Is that what it's like?
Basically.
Or Costco that it's, I had no idea that show existed.
Yeah, I was like, what's something on NBC? That's a thing. You couldn't have done that. You couldn't have been a star. You couldn't have been, the lead on 2 shows on different networks that aired during the fall. Like I genuinely don't think that would be logistically possible.
Yeah.
But to be the lead on 2 shows that aren't full time, that can come out, whenever they feel like it. Mm-hmm. That's infinitely more flexible when it comes to scheduling. Yeah. No doubt.
Okay.
And, if Pedro right now, his stock is higher than GameStop. So, I mean, if for HBO to say we want him, they know what comes attached to that.
That's true. I guess you're right. That would have obviously had to been completely worked out with Disney to be like, hey, I have this other thing. Let's make sure they both work. Yeah. And I have to imagine, I think there's going to be a giant shift from TV to movies now or streaming, especially because of COVID. I have to imagine the next couple of years. I mean, I think we're seeing it right now with Disney. Think about all of the things they just announced with their app. How there's like 10 TV shows for Star Wars and how many for Marvel, and they
Well,
announced like a couple movies.
well, and I mean, here's the thing. We saw this start with Netflix years ago when they started Netflix originals. But
Yeah,
they didn't put Disney looked at that and said that's a good idea, but it's too small for us.
yeah,
And Disney just grabbed that ball and freaking ran with it.
yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this works because this is how they use their studios efficiently. That being said, they just closed Blue Sky that
Right,
did Ice Age and all of
right.
that. So that's like that was a bummer. But I mean, what was
Yeah.
their last? Well,
It's kind of a redundancy though at that point when you buy Fox, you already have how many animation studios?
yeah, but I don't think so because Blue Sky had its own style. It didn't look like what was happening at Disney or Pixar. It was its own kind of
Apparently,
thing.
apparently they're getting like people didn't lose their jobs. Did I read that Disney is absorbing them?
All right, is that what's going on? Because I hadn't seen the full. I didn't want to get too into it because I hadn't seen the full. Like, here's the report on what's happening with this.
I thought I read there. I could be wrong.
Let me see. What do we got on deadline? Shuttering Blue Sky Studios. Writing 450 employees. Working with the studio to explore open positions at other internal studios. That's not a guarantee.
Right, you're right. That's not a guarantee. Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess I read that wrong. Hopefully they all land on their feet. Okay, so yeah, they made Ferdinand.
Yeah, Ferdinand was not great.
Yeah.
But I mean, you had Ice Age. What was the last one? Spies in Disguise came out, what, was it 2 years ago now, I think, right? No, yeah,
No idea what
2019.
that is.
2019. It's on, hell, I think it was on HBO Max for a time.
I never watch any of these movies.
Spy,
I've never
it,
been interested in Ice Age or
yeah, that's the thing. Ice Age was a $1 billion franchise. Like that,
Rio. Yeah,
yeah.
just never
Like those
cared.
movies made money.
Peanuts.
Rio, was it Rio?
Robots.
No, right. Oh man, how can you not be into robots?
I'm looking through this list and there's not a single one that I cared about.
Oh, Robots was so good.
I think I've seen part of the Dr. Seuss Horton Hears a Who.
Oh, that one was good too. But then that went to those rights went to Illumination.
But see, all of this feels I know, I guess I'm on the outside here. They just didn't feel on the same level as when like a Pixar movie came
They're
out.
not. No.
Right.
They're not. They're not by a long shot. But it's. I mean, the thing was like Ice Age was a license to print money. Like those movies always made bank. The merchandising was crazy, and Blue Sky largely operated on Ice Age money.
Yeah,
it
they started
really did.
their it says they started their animation with the cockroaches from Joe's apartment.
Yeah.
And then they worked on Alien Resurrection,
Yeah. Well,
Simple Wish,
everybody's got things they don't want to talk about.
Fight Club. That's a good one. Star Trek Insurrection. I love that. I love the Star Trek movie. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I feel terrible for the people who lost their jobs or can't, have to now scramble to hopefully get one at Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I get why it happened. It was not Blue Sky was not from a business standpoint, you looked at Blue Sky and said, "Are you making money?" And the reliable answer was no. And it sucks. Spies in Disguise was better than I expected it to be, but it did not make money. Ferdinand was the year or two, whatever, before that, and it was not great, and it made not money by a long shot.
I was Netflix. I would scoop these people up in a heartbeat.
I absolutely. Oh, without question.
Yeah.
But I wish them all the best. They were talent. It takes talent to make a movie.
Yeah.
especially an animated movie that's going to get that kind of release and get the kind of, I mean, say what you will about Ferdinand. I mean, to get John Cena to star, you have to have something going for you. Because
Oh, did you see recently he's been teasing My Hero Academia?
it's because the poster it has an homage to his "You Can't See Me" on it,
Oh,
and he
that's
was
what it
like, "I see
is.
what you did there. That's cool. I'm
Man,
all right with that."
he'd make a great what's
Don't,
his name?
don't. No, John Cena would not be a good All Might. Don't even
He
start.
would. How
Don't,
would he
nope. Don't at
not?
me on this. I'm not having it.
I am
I'm not having it.
co-signing him to be All Might because that would
Nope.
be fucking perfect.
And I stand in head of the opposition. I've only ever seen the first season of MHA, and I hate that idea.
Why? What? But why not John Cena? What is he? What you don't? Why don't you? Why do you
because
think
the
he
whole
could
point
not do
of
that?
because the whole point of MHA is to put over the next generation of young talent.
Jokes aside, why don't you think he could do it?
I stand by my statement.
Oh man, I totally think he could do it.
I
He's
there,
it's almost perfect for him. I could not think of a better actor. Maybe Chris Hemsworth, but
See,
I'm trying to
that's
think
the
of like
thing.
a jacked guy.
I would love that though, because you got to remember the other half of All Might is to not be that giant ass guy.
Yeah, but John Cena can play it up, and dude, I think John Cena honestly is going to be the next Rock.
Oh yeah,
And
oh,
he's
there's no
just
doubt about that.
knocking it out of the park.
Yeah,
I think he has the chops. I think he does comedy super well,
yeah.
and him just playing it up for the crowd as All Might. I literally couldn't think of someone better in mind than John Cena.
I think
That's
Chris
all I was
Hemsworth.
shocked.
I
Chris Hemsworth would be great.
I
Yeah.
think Chris Hemsworth. I think because I think there's something a lot more sympathetic in him when he's down and out.
Oh, that's true. I mean, that's Thor's journey, right?
Yeah,
That's
there's
Thor.
there's so much more when he has those moments of self-reflection, like
Yeah.
you feel for him. Maybe you're not supposed to, but like when he's I mean, when he's
Oh, yeah.
explaining the whichever in the hell stone it was cuz they changed him around. When he's explaining the ether,
Hmm.
that scene, you just wanted to give him a hug.
Yeah.
Like you wanted to let him know everything was going to be okay.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't I can't see John Cena doing that without that hint of smugness that makes you just kind of go, I think you had it coming.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. And yeah, I agree about Hemsworth, man. I was thinking about that watching the movies. Like, he is like before the Marvel movies, not many people cared about Iron Man. No one cared about Thor. They had their fans, but it was a very small subsect of Marvel fans.
Yeah.
Most people were Wolverine, X-Men,
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
like those were
Right.
big, like I mean, I remember when they were like we're releasing an Iron Man movie and I'm like that is a B-level character.
Oh
That
yeah.
was at the time Iron Man was a solid B-level character. Like people kind of knew who he was. And I'll never forget talking about the first Captain America movie and saying, I don't think this is going to do well. I think Cap is like your grandparents' superhero, and I don't think he's going to translate to younger audiences. I am thrilled that I sound stupid now. Like,
Oh, it's crazy.
it's
Like looking back and watching these movies. I think when everyone saw Iron Man, they knew that was like Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. You couldn't
perfect.
get a better
No,
thing. But then, honestly, looking at all of this, I honestly think Chris Hemsworth as not Chris Hemsworth. I'm sorry, there's too many Chris's. Chris Evans as Captain America might be a better page to character or page to screen with Chris Evans. I don't think anyone else could play a better role than that. I feel like Robert Downey Jr. made it his own,
yeah.
if that makes sense. Where this was like, I can't imagine anyone other than Chris Evans playing it. And now that I think about it with Thor, Chris Hemsworth, it's so perfect. It's like he made that character to now moving forward, everyone's going to look at Thor as Chris Hemsworth. Like that's going to be the character, even in the comic books. It's literally going to be Chris Hemsworth from now until he stops playing it or forever. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know where I was going with that, but just after rewatching this, looking at these characters, I'm like, oh, they did such a fucking good job. And some of them were not, some of like Iron Man 2 wasn't as good, Thor 2 wasn't as good, but then they came right back and knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And the moments from those ones that people didn't like that much were huge later on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
no, I really love that when, like he wasn't really gung ho for a third Thor. And then they, they were like, no, come on, come back. We're bringing in Taika Waititi. This guy's from kind of around your neck of the woods, so we know what kind of crazy we're getting into. And Taika's just standing back in the corner, rubbing his hands and laughing like you people have no idea.
Oh yeah.
And so it's, and then you get Thor Ragnarok, and I love that go back and watch press from Thor: The Dark World. And Hemsworth just does not look like he looks like he's really putting up the effort to be excited. Watch the press from Thor Ragnarok. He's trying not to run across the ceiling. Like it is night and day.
Oh,
and he had so much fun with it. And then with what they did with him in Endgame, like I love that he was like the big Thorbowski was so much fun for him. Like he just had a blast with it.
Oh yeah, his character goes on more of a journey during those last couple movies than the other people did. And like I said, my favorite scene from Endgame was with him and his mother.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, he lost more than anybody. I mean, obviously Tony lost. We don't. We can spoil Endgame, right? Like,
I'm pretty. Yeah, it's been like 3 years. Like, we're good.
Yeah. Like, obviously Tony sacrificed himself, and Cap literally got everything he wanted. He got to be Captain America, and he also got his life by going back in time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Thor had to make the decision. First, he had to watch his father die. He had to make the decision not only to kill his crazy sister,
his father and mother.
And then did watch his mom die, and then had to go back and talk to her again right before this.
Oh,
without
his brother, dad.
We're getting to all that. Like that's what I'm saying. He had a lot, but he had that scene with his mom where he can't just sit there and say, I can't let you die again, but she can see it. Right. He has to, not only does he lose her, years later, after he's lost his father, after he's lost his brother, who he thought he had lost before and actually had really kind of come to terms with, and then loses him. And then had to actively make the choice to let his home be destroyed. Then after all of this, after everything he's lost, after his failure to kill Thanos in his mind is the reason that all of this went to hell. Like there was the snap because he missed, and that haunted him that whole time. After all of this, he goes back and talks to his mom and has to make the choice to let her go.
Right.
All over again. Like he had a hell of a rough ride. And it's kind of the same as what happened to Tony as what happened to him, just in the sense of, Tony had everything and then he fell down, quite literally crashed from the sky and had to build himself back up. And there were some speed bumps along the way. The party was not a fun time for him. And then get to the point where he's willing to give everything up to save everything.
Yeah.
Thor had a very similar journey, because when we see him at the beginning of Thor, he's about to be crowned king. Like he's done, and he's as arrogant as he's ever been. He loses that power and then has to go on the journey to get it back. And then Thor constantly gets knocked down. The dark, the first Thor, he loses his powers and he has to figure out how to be humble and get them back. The second Thor, he loses his mother and has to figure out how to move on from that and whether or not he even wants to still be in Asgard. The third Thor, he loses his father, and then he loses his home. And
his best friends, everybody.
And his eye. Like he had,
his eye, yep.
And he has to figure out what he's meant to be there. Oh, and by the way, now you're king because you just kind of get it because you're the last one standing, buddy.
Pretty much, he's lost everything. Yeah.
So he has to figure that out. And then, Infinity War, he loses his brother. How many of the people he was supposed to save that were still on that ship,
I think half of them,
whose home he made the choice to let be destroyed.
Yeah.
And then, so he's trying to get up from that, and he's going to, I'm sorry, but Bring Me Thanos was one of the best, like, oh shit, now here we go.
I still get goosebumps just thinking about it.
I love it. It's great because it's like this guy is on the absolute warpath. Mm-hmm. And then he fails.
Yep.
And he falls again. And he has to find a way to drag himself back up. Yep. And it's, Thor goes through that journey so many times.
Yeah.
And I'm not putting aside what Tony had to go through because he didn't have, it wasn't all roses for him either. But I don't think it was quite as cataclysmic as what Thor went through, just because he kept getting kicked down.
Yeah.
And he'd get halfway up and get kicked down again. Mm-hmm. And it happened over and over again. And again, not to take away anything from Tony, I mean, his best friend's best friend turned out to be the guy who killed his parents.
Right. No doubt. Like exactly. Just watching that again, and him just like, I don't care. He killed my mother. Like, like everyone can understand. Could go. You know what? He's right.
Yeah.
Anyone
you look at
in
that,
their right mind would feel that way.
Absolutely. No. You look at Tony and you're just like, I get it. You look back as an objective person and say, well, he was under mind control. Put it aside. Nah. No, same thing. If I'm Tony, then the helmet goes on. It's go time. But the difference is Tony's downfall always comes from his own choices.
Right.
It's his own choices, good or bad. He chooses to go after Bucky. He chooses to not forgive. He chooses to basically allow Cap to walk without the shield. He chooses not to mend that fence until it's absolutely necessary. Iron Man 2, he chooses to lose himself in a bottle. He chooses the destructive behavior even when he's sober. He makes these choices, and then he has to live with the consequences. On the Thor side of it, his choices, from when he's first humbled in the original Thor, he is crawling his way back, and he learns his lesson, and then he gets knocked down again. And then he betters himself, and he gets knocked down again. It's not through his own actions that he brings about those consequences necessarily. Obviously, he chooses to let Asgard be destroyed, but there's, he didn't know he would have to cut Thanos' head off. Like he went after him. He went hell for leather. He was going for it, and it wasn't enough. He saved the people of Asgard by evacuating them from Asgard, and ran into Thanos. It wasn't enough. He kept doing better, and it kept getting thrown back in his face.
Yep.
And I think that is a far more heartbreaking journey.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying Tony ever gave up. He made, but there again, he made the choices, and they were, and I like the symmetry in that his choices to be destructive in his own life were always a bad thing until the very end, where the last choice he makes is to be destructive completely of his own life because it's the right thing.
Yep.
I love that mirror, and I really love that's a bit of dramatic irony in a sense, but it's poetic and it's fantastic. Yep. And Thor starts wanting to be king, and he's trying to be king, and he's always trying, but he, after he literally gets the arrogance knocked out of him,
dude,
he's always trying to learn how to be better to be king, because he finally starts to understand what it means to be king. And then he gets to be king, kind of just sort of, again, just sort of by accident, he winds up being king and finds that it's not for him. And he gives it up at the end of Endgame. He goes, this whole trip, this whole journey, this everything that I was supposed to be on. You know, what is it he says to Valkyrie? For 1,000 years, for the first time in 1,000 years, I don't know where I'm going.
Right.
Like, that's
exciting. Him being in Guardians and the new Thor movie with him with the Guardians. I can't fucking wait, dude.
I'm hyped. I'm hell hyped.
Have you seen the pictures of him with God, I keep forgetting the Chris's. with Star-Lord. Have you seen the images with him?
No, I haven't.
Oh, look that up real fast.
Okay.
While we do this, look up Thor.
I've seen that, like, his body double is freaking out because he can't keep up with him.
Yes, yeah, it's like his outfit along with Chris Pratt is just so fucking cool.
Nice.
And I see what they're going for. It's very 80s. Like, I can totally tell that. I have to imagine in the movie he was like, well, I can do better than you. I can look better 80s than you.
Yeah.
So that's what he does. I have to imagine throughout this whole movie they're going to be going back, just like they did with Endgame, where they kind of went back and forth with like, well, I'm cooler. No, I'm cooler. I totally see this happening in that movie. And one little side piece. He has his hair braided in this movie. When you look at the picture, he's got a braid in his hair, and what is going through that is a piece of Loki's hair.
Oh, that's badass.
For his brother. Yeah, to honor his brother. And dude, I could not be fucking more excited for the Loki TV show. To see what they're going to be doing this, for him to be hopping between universes. Yeah. I could not be more excited. Like, I went back and watched that trailer again, and I'm just like, fuck yes, give me some Loki. I think Thor has to show up at some point in that show. And dude, I want him back into the MCU. Like, I hope those two characters play them until just years. I hope they don't stop until they get tired of it. But I hope it keeps going on, because you could not ask for two. And one other thing, have you seen the video of him trying to be Thor? I forget the actor's name for Loki.
Oh, Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah. Have you seen you should look up the video of him going for the role of Thor.
Okay. Oh, he did it. There's a screen test or something.
He wanted to be Thor, and they were like, nah, we think you're Loki.
I mean, they were right, but
they were right. Yeah, no, but he's like jacked in it too. I don't know. And they were totally right. I could not think of anyone else besides Chris Hemsworth being Thor. And I hope they play it until that wagon falls into the ground. Because...
that's the thing. It's entirely going to be up to him when he's the fact that now that he's having fun with it. Like before Ragnarok, he was ready to just say, "Yeah, I'm just gonna at the end of my contract, that'll be that." But after Ragnarok, he's, yes, what can we do now? Where can we go? How much more fun can we have?
Well, it was weird how, like, at the beginning of all the MCU, Thor was probably the most expendable character in my eyes. Is like, okay, whatever. Now it's completely flipped.
Now he's the only one left.
Right. He's the only one left, and I'm so excited that he's excited about being in these movies.
Yes.
Him with the Guardians, it's just, you couldn't, that's perfect. That's the best place he could be. Him, with his rabbit friend. But
that was one of my favorite little Easter eggs in Endgame.
Yeah.
When Rocket takes off, get that rabbit.
Yep, exactly.
So I was like, that is a magnificent callback that nobody got. Like,
it's beautiful. I fucking love it. It's such good comedy, man.
And I love that he speaks Groot because it was an elective.
Yes.
Yep. They have electives in Asgard. They know what that means. Oh boy, okay. That's such a great just throwaway line that just sticks because it's so much with that character. Yeah, it was an elective. I was just like, sure, what the hell? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. So did you see the Love and Thunder set photo?
I did. I saw that one. Yeah.
And you see the jacket?
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. It's so 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's gonna be something. I can't wait to see Zune sales not skyrocket.
What do you mean?
Remember in Volume 2 when they find a Zune?
Oh yeah, Zune. That's right.
It's like it's what all the Earth kids are listening to. It's like, oh,
Yep.
buddy, oh,
Oh yeah.
oh man, okay.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, I don't even know what they're going to do this. Obviously, Jane becomes Thor. So I think they're going to go the route of her with. I don't know if I should spoil anything from the comic with her when it comes to this. So I guess I won't talk about it too much.
it's
But
it's also a really heartbreaking journey.
it is, yes, and I think that this is the perfect director and writer to do that.
Yes.
To have that mix of comedy and like, I mean, what was God? Why is my mind melt? It's because I've worked all fuck. I'm sorry. What was the movie that he did with the? Maybe I am getting Alzheimer's. What's the name of the movie where the last movie he just did?
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit. Yes. That's kind of like you have some funny moments, but you have some heart wrenching moments.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see with this. We're going to see a lot of goofy, a lot of funny with Thor and the Guardians. But then the stuff with Jane, I think, is going to be like it's going to be heart wrenching and it's going to be incredible. And I literally can't wait to see this movie. Did they say if Kat Dennings is going to be in that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I thought they had just completely forgotten about her character, and then WandaVision.
Yeah,
So,
I love her in WandaVision, so I didn't know if they were gonna bring her back.
yeah, because and we'll talk a little bit about that at the end, but this is a very different Darcy.
Right, right.
Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't see her on here. I see basically the Guardians. I see John Gunn, of course, or sorry, Sean Gunn.
yeah,
Valkyrie's in it. Sif. Okay. Nebula's in it. So yeah, the Guardians. Of course, Christian Bale. So that's probably the movie I look forward to the most for the MCU.
yeah.
When's this gonna be? 2022. Oh, next year.
It comes out a year from today.
All right.
It comes
By
out in
then,
exactly 1 year.
we'll hopefully be vaccinated and everyone will feel a lot safer. God damn, I can't wait for that one.
Or at least that was a release date. Now I should
okay.
that may have changed.
Korg's in it too, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah,
He's got to be right.
You get Taika Waititi, you get Korg. I really love that his whole joke in Ragnarok was that he didn't get enough flyers passed out.
Yeah, right.
Because that means the Rock dude got beat by paper, and that that just kills me. That's just great. Absolutely kills me. with his friend Scissors,
right?
There were two that is something that Taika just sat down and just giggled at that, and I guarantee you he's one of those people who saw that and giggled like a school kid for 10 minutes, and was just like, I'm writing this in here because I laughed. And it's like, okay, sure. You know what? You want to you want to make a joke about flyers? Okay, sure. Go for it. We're not going to ask questions. All right. It goes with the character. That's fine.
Yeah. Do you think we get any surprises like Beta Ray Bill?
Maybe. I don't know, man. All bets are off at this point.
Yeah.
For everything Marvel related. Literally all the bets are off. All of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Wait, holy shit! Why did I just? So Chris, okay. Oh, hold on.
Because Christian Bale is playing Gore the God Butcher.
He's playing Gore the God Butcher. Why didn't I know that?
I don't know because we've talked about it.
We've talked about that. Gore the God. Have you read the Thor run with Gore the God Butcher?
I'm vaguely familiar with it.
Why did I think he was playing? I thought he was playing a completely different character. I thought he was playing the the CEO guy, the one that's basically like a bull.
Okay.
Oh, I forget his name. A different character, a Thor bad guy. Gore the God Butcher, from what I understand, is a relatively new character. He was from the Jason Aaron run.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, he was essentially. He's an alien that his family is killed. He cursed the gods. continued to curse the gods, and then like this ties into like King of the Black and stuff like that. Like this is all extremely recent, and he ends up is granted abilities, and so he goes after all of the gods to the point where he. I won't go too much into it because I don't know what they're going to do in the story. I don't know if they're just using his character and they're not going to introduce any of the things around it. They kind of did that with Endgame with a lot of Thanos' people. They've mixed them up and changed their powers and stuff. So I don't know if he'll be the same. But like Gore the God Butcher is a legit villain. That's someone who was able to go to the past, present, future, and literally fuck with all versions of Thor.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, he's in Jason Aaron's run, which I highly recommend. I thought it was I forget his name, but it was a completely different character. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure who you're. I don't know who you're looking for, man. I really don't.
Yeah, he was like I don't know. I'll ignore me. There was like a I don't know, it was like a bull or something like that. I thought he was a completely different character, but that's okay.
I want to back up to Last of Us for a second. They've also cast Ellie.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a Game of Thrones reunion.
Yeah, Bella Ramsey, who played Lyanna Mormont, who was the other badass girl in the North.
Oh, okay.
So she's going to be Ellie, which, awesome. Yep. Go for it. Very exciting.
Absolutely.
But that will be fun. That will be very, very fun.
Yeah, how did we get into Marvel? I'm so sorry.
Because we were talking about what the hell were we talking about?
I don't even know.
We were talking about Pedro Pascal and movies and hell, I don't know. Oh, because you were talking about rewatching the MCU. That's right.
Yes. Yeah. All right, sorry about that.
That's all right. I mean, this show is nothing if not famous for neither one of us being able to stay on task for very long.
I get so sidetracked.
Yeah, welcome to the We Geek ADHD podcast.
Right, exactly.
We are streaming ADHD on Spotify.
Yep.
At these speeds, we have HD ADHD.
Yep.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in terms of news, we hadn't actually gone anywhere because the last news thing was talking about The Last of Us. So now we're talking about The Last of Us again. So we haven't actually gone anywhere.
Yep.
We literally got back on right where we got off.
Yep.
Oh, that's hilarious. HBO Max also announced more animated series. They're doing a Velma origin story. Okay. Fine, whatever. We had a pup named Scooby-Doo, but, they want to do something different. Okay. To be executive produced and starring Mindy Kaling, so that's promising.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a 10-episode series, so imagine it's just going to be like a one-off. And I guess if it does well, we'll get others, maybe?
Okay.
I don't know. It's different, try it. Why not? There've been how many different Scooby-Doo shows that all do different things. Like there's not really a canon there to be married to. So they're also doing a clone. They've also ordered 2 seasons of Clone High.
Okay.
Which is they're reimagining the 2002 Lord and Miller series. That's how far back they're pulling with that.
Oh, wow.
Lord Miller will also be involved. They'll be executive producing and writing for the new show.
Oh, okay.
So, very impressive. Very impressive. Very happy for them. I'm always happy for Lord and Miller. Those guys do great work.
Yeah.
And Nate Sherman and Nick Vokey are doing a series called Fired on Mars. And it's set on the campus of a Martian... It's set on the campus of a tech company that's on Mars. So I'm basically just picturing Martian Google.
Okay.
More or less.
Yeah.
And then the CW decided to confirm something we talked about, because we talked about way back when. They talked about back in August the idea of a live-action Powerpuff Girls sequel series.
Right.
Not just live-action series, but like, hey, what happened when the Powerpuff Girls grew up and realized that they didn't get to have a childhood?
Right.
Which, yeah, it's depressing, but have you seen the CW? It's not all sunshine and rainbows. But that
Yeah.
show got a pilot order, so
Okay.
they're cautiously optimistic about that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
pilot orders tend to be, well, we'll give you a shot and see what happens.
Right.
And that was pretty much all the news this week. Decent little bit of
Okay.
news. I couldn't, because I was looking through and tried to see, did we miss anything? Is there anything I forgot? And I couldn't find anything offhand.
Yeah.
I know video game wise, Final Fantasy 14 had their big reveal for the next patch. Not patch, next expansion. Excuse me. They talked about their next patch, but also the next expansion
Yeah.
called Endwalker, and it's
Yeah.
basically going to bring the current story to a close, and then they'll tell another story after that, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, they introduced a new class. They introduced a new healer class that basically acts like a Gundam with the lasers that it has. It looks interesting, and that was part of why I was like, I'll give this a shot. That looks fun.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. But that was
Cool.
announced for fall of 2021. That was the best release date they could give, which
Oh.
I understand and I appreciate.
Right. Right.
They also said there's another class. There's a melee DPS class that they're also gonna have, but they're not announcing that yet.
Oh, okay.
The new healer is called Sage. I was like, oh, okay, well that's different.
Okay.
I'm not up on all the jobs that are there yet. I know more about it than I used to.
Yeah.
and not from playing it. But there's, that's exciting. I like seeing that. I like seeing anything Final Fantasy do well.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
There is also, and I had seen this a while back, and I don't think I'd put this anywhere. In the next couple of days, I think it's the 13th, Square is doing a concert which is heavily using music from the Final Fantasy VII remake. Square is famous for one thing during their concerts:
What is that?
announcing shit.
Oh, okay.
Square loves to have announcements at concerts. I predict that at this concert we will hear not about part 2. That's going to be if they announce that, that's going to be like an E3 level announcement or a PlayStation or a PS Direct exclusive kind of announcement. Whatever, I don't remember what the PlayStation Showcase, whatever it is they call it, experience, I think.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. That'll be that kind of level. I think it's going to be the PS5 version of the 7 remake. And what changes there going to be, there may be some new content. I would really love for there to be like an extra little bit of story just to say, hey, it's been, what, a year? Yeah, it's been almost a year, as an upgraded version. Here's, it runs at, 4K and what have you, and ray tracing, and, all the fun technical terms. But I would love to see just give me just a little bit extra story content. Like, I think that would be nice. But I don't expect, and maybe a PC version, but I don't expect an Xbox announcement. I don't expect a remake part 2 announcement. And who knows? Maybe they won't announce something, huge. But
Yeah.
it's a Square it's a Square Enix concert. They're going to announce something.
Okay.
But I don't know. We'll see. And I think it's happening on the 13th, but it's the 13th in Japan, so we'll know about it on the 12th here, because that's how the international dateline works. Yeah.
Right.
So, because they're already on the 12th, I think. So, I don't know. It'll be at some point. But,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was there any trailers during the Super Bowl?
There was, there was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier spot that I thought was really neat.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, because it showed Sharon Carter again.
Yep. Show
glad
with
that they
Zemo was in it too, right?
yeah, they had a little more Zemo.
Mm-hmm.
There was another F9 spot. I didn't watch it because I saw the first one. That was enough.
F9. Oh, oh,
Fast Nine,
Fast and Furious. Yeah.
Fast and Furious, or
Yeah.
but
I,
whatever.
I think in the Falcon one we got to see what's his name?
U.S. Agent.
U.S. Agent.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I remember explaining because I watched it with my parents, my mom, and she was like, "Is that Captain America?" I was like, "Not really."
yeah, it's like no, it's
He's the
it's
bad
it's
guy,
it's Diet Captain America,
right?
more or less.
I explained it was like that's probably the guy the government's pushing to be Captain America, and he's not going to be a good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine in my head they're gonna be like the Falcons would be like, he picked me, and the government's gonna be like, we need someone to look more like Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Like that's legit what I think is gonna happen.
I definitely think they're gonna and I think Bucky will play a part in it too. In just that, I don't think he'll be willing to throw Bucky under the bus.
Oh, he won't be, and I don't think Bucky wants it. Like Bucky has murdered a lot of people.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think
yeah.
no, I don't think that Bucky is going to be the one. Like, there's going to be confusion over that. I think it's going to be because Sam isn't just going to be willing to say, "Nah, screw this guy." Like, he's not important. I'll disown him or whatever. I think that may be part of it.
Oh yeah,
where
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
no, this guy, this guy worked his ass off. He's done a lot of good. Yeah, he did a lot of bad, but he's also done a lot of good.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think Bucky is definitely coming into his own.
Yeah.
There was also some interesting things in it. If you slow it down, you'll see a wall full of scroll heads.
Okay.
So I think I think they're going to be setting up the Secret Wars. Not Secret Wars. I'm sorry.
Secret Invasion.
What is wrong with my brain tonight? Yeah, Secret Invasion. Oh my god, I really need to go to the doctor. All right, so Secret Invasion. I really think they're going to be setting this up over a couple of shows. I doubt WandaVision will touch too much into it. I don't think anyone's a scroll in WandaVision, or that would be kind of cool actually. But
no, we'll talk about WandaVision here in a minute.
Yes.
They've got their own shit going on.
They've got their own shit, absolutely. But I think they are setting a lot of the stuff up. I think they will in the next couple of seasons of these shows for Secret Invasion, that maybe one or two characters we think were regular the whole time, they're actually just scrolls. Because there's like a whole wall of their heads, and in my own head I'm thinking, are they like, and it's like in a nightclub, and I'm thinking like, okay, so the world is clearly aware that there are scrolls around, and it's almost like they're hunting them. Or like, I don't know why you would have a wall full of their heads, but it just got me a little excited. I'm like, okay, so what is going on in this? And this trailer especially was just really cool to see during the time I'm watching like Civil War, because like these two characters during that movie are just perfect with each other. When Spider-Man goes against them, or when they're sitting in the back of the car, they're awesome on the screen together. So I think they're going to do Cap. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait for it. It literally feels like Captain America 4, but it's going to be, what, 6 hours?
8, probably.
Or 8 hours. Yeah.
And it's what, the week after?
I think they're waiting. I think isn't it 2 weeks? Like, I think they're going to have like a WandaVision behind the scenes and then this, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Give me a sec.
Or is it legitimately the week after?
I think it's the week after. I'll look up the dates, because the last episode of WandaVision is going to be on as soon as I can figure out pages.
Now, I also noticed the city. There's a made up city in this show. Okay. I think it's called Mangapore, or it's from the X-Men. It's like, you ever seen the images of Wolverine where he's like a casino gambler?
Yeah.
That's the city that he's in. It's basically a city that, I forget what it's called, Magapore. It's a made-up city near China.
It's basically meant to be Singapore without actually being Singapore.
Yes, yes. And the whole dynamic between the city is you have your extremely high elites and your extreme poor, and crime is just running rampant. And so they're going to that in this show. So it's kind of like uh, it's like Wakanda. It's not in the real world, but it's one of Marvel's cities, kind of like DC has Metropolis and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's super interesting. We're going to be seeing a complete, and this is like it's heavy X-Men stuff in the comics. So I'm curious if we see any Easter eggs. I would be keeping an eye out when we're watching that show to see what's there.
Fair.
Yeah, because this is where a lot of people go. Like this, Black Widow has a lot to do with this city. Who knows? Maybe she's in the show. She's got to be, right? Oh wait, no, just kidding. I forget what time period this is.
Yeah.
But I have to imagine she's mentioned because she plays a big part in that city. She's always in that city as well. So, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I got you. No, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier is 2 weeks after.
Oh, okay.
It's
2 weeks after.
Yeah, it's March. It premieres March 19th, and it's 6 episodes. It's only 6 episodes.
That's what I thought. Okay, and I think they're doing I could be completely wrong, but I do think they're going to be doing a behind-the-scenes featurette for WandaVision.
Oh,
I hope they do it for every show.
I bet I know what they're going to do. I bet that because with the last one being the 5th, yeah, it's the 5th. So they'll have the next week is probably going to be a behind-the-scenes for WandaVision, and also the what is it? The MCU Legends. Where they did like the setup, sort of the everything you need to know to watch WandaVision. I imagine they'll do one of those for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yep. Also, real fast, what I was talking about earlier about who I thought Christian Bale was playing, I thought he was playing the Minotaur, which essentially is like a CEO type character, kind of like Christian Bale. You think of him in the suit and whatnot. Yeah. He's like that, but then he can turn into a Minotaur. And he's like he runs RexCon, which is of course one of the big companies in Marvel Universe and stuff like that. So that's who I thought he was going to play for some reason. Maybe I saw like what do you think he's going to play before it was officially announced, and so that stuck in my head. But yeah, man, I'm pumped for this. We're gonna get WandaVision, then we're gonna get this. Like I feel in the next couple of years, we're gonna be at a place where it's gonna just roll from one Marvel show to a Star Wars show. A couple weeks later, a new Marvel show, then a new Star Wars show. Like I can't wait for that. Yeah. So much content. I'm going through the trailer right now. There's like legit. They're like dancing in a club where the Skrull skulls are, but there's like famous paintings in there as well. So like, I'm really curious what this is. I don't know. Sorry, I should be going through this while we're talking, but I'm fucking pumped, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be dope.
Yep. All right, man. So yeah, let's get into WandaVision.
Let's talk about this insanity.
Yeah, dude.
Of the things we posited, this was one of them because I think we talked about like 8 different. Hey, who are they gonna have be the big guest star? Well, we got our goddamn answer. That's for sure.
Yeah, we did. Before we say anything, obviously we're gonna be spoiling the shit out of this.
Monumental spoiler alert. Giant, huge spoiler.
And this is one of those, like, I know I told some people, wait until this comes out, because I don't know how they'd feel about the first couple of episodes just being straight up, like, rip-offs of, not rip-offs, but love letters to classic television. But now is the time for you to catch up. You do not want to be spoiled about this.
Yeah, God, I don't remember who was it that I heard or saw. I don't remember where it was that called it a Disney sitcom parody thriller.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that is the perfect way to describe this show.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved it so much. It was a Disney sitcom parody thriller, or a Disney parody sitcom thriller or something. But it was something like that. I was like, that's magnificent. Holy hell.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this where it's got everything. where do we even start with
Well,
this?
it makes sense. You know, the way it
Yeah.
progressed makes sense. The first few episodes were establishing the world such that it is, and also introducing the creepy-ish elements of it.
Yeah.
And and you did that in the style of these sitcoms. But I like that towards the end they've definitely broken down doing that, and I don't think you're going to see that much going forward, just because sitcoms are not the same now. Like the
Right.
50s, very specific idea. 60s, very specific idea. 70s, specific idea. Even the 80s, which is where we were this week. You know, things like what, like the like Family Matters and the Facts of Life, that kind of thing. There's still very much a theme that you can draw on. Like they had a look, they had a style. The 90s, I mean, Full House.
Oh, this is going to go all the way up to the 2000s. We've seen where they're doing the family. What's that show called? Oh God, the one where they're looking at the camera. Oh, what's the name of it? Oh my
I
God,
don't.
sorry. You talk while I'll look
I don't
it
know
up.
what you're looking for. You'll have to.
It ran for a bunch of seasons, and it was like a complete mixed family. It was like all different kinds of. I'm just trying to think. Hold on.
You're gonna have to find it for me
Family.
because.
That's it. Modern Family.
Oh,
They're
Modern
straight
Family,
up
okay.
ripping off Modern Family in the trailer.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, she's looking at the camera and she's just like, like it's straight from Modern Family.
Okay, so there's still. I mean, that would make sense. Like they still have two eras to go, basically the '90s and the 2000s.
They have three, right? This is gonna be 8 episodes.
Well, but I mean, we had one episode already that didn't have an era. The
That's true.
fourth episode was basically kind of the catch up, and I think that by the end of the series, it's going to completely break down. I don't think the last episode is going to have a sitcom theme.
You're right. Or if it does, that's where the Modern Family would be. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna get interesting. I mean, we had and the way that it's built, to this idea that everything it's so the way that it's all broken down, and I think it also is a commentary on the sitcom as a genre. How
totally.
each era was so distinctive. I Love Lucy had a look. The Dick Van Dyke Show had a look. The 70s was the Brady Bunch, very distinctive. And you look at this episode and without even being told, oh, that's when this is set. That's when this is, and people can relate to that. I mean, even our generation. We had Nick at Night growing up. We had the Dick Van Dyke Show. We understood. We had I Love Lucy. We're familiar, if nothing else.
And you could understand the difference in like how different those generations were.
Oh,
yes.
Like, oh God, yes.
Oh wait, like he can go to work, and they only need one person working in the family to afford a giant house with all these kids.
Yeah, boy, what's that like?
Right, it's so completely different. And you see that through all these episodes, it changing a little bit, just like how real life did.
And yet
the
as
dynamic.
And also as it goes forward, but the idea of the sitcom itself also sort of breaking down. And that's just one of the layers. The other one is, everything, as it's moved away from the 50s era, everything was idyllic. And the worst thing that could happen was, you're oh my God, your boss came over to dinner. Oh no, first off, who in hell has their boss over to dinner anymore? But also,
exactly,
the idea that and if he doesn't get the big promotion at work, then it's not going to work out. So she better cook the right dinner. But the stereotyping aside and the antiquatedness aside, the idea that it was idyllic, and then in the 60s it gets a little more complicated. And then the 70s, it gets slightly more complicated. And by the time you get to the 80s, now, not just, and now, they've had the kids, and oh boy, this is big. But now, they have the dog, and then the dog dies. And in true 80s sitcom fashion, they have, it's that episode, where how do you...
Fast. There's a show, have you ever seen Why Women Kill?
No.
There's a show on Amazon. I'd highly recommend it. It's got Lucy Liu and a bunch of other actors in it.
Nice.
And it follows 3 different women through 3 different time periods. The 60s, the 80s, and now.
Okay.
And in the 60s, literally a big plot of it is honey, we're having my boss over for dinner. I need you to make dinner. And spoiler alert for a little part of it, she accidentally does like special brownies that day. She's not prepared for it. The show's actually really fucking good because it deals with the dynamic of a relationship and how, like, the show's called Why Women Kill. So it shows it shows a body bag leaving the exact same house through all three of those generations.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and I didn't see all of it, so I don't know it says Why Women Kill, so I'm assuming it. I think they're trying to make you think it's the wives, but I think because there's mistresses and whatnot involved in the show that it might not necessarily be them.
Yeah.
Like the couple in the third one has an open relationship. So they bring in a woman to their home, and it's not very equal for both of the partners. So it's super interesting. It's super funny. I've seen like 3 or 4 episodes. But that's when you said that, it just sparked that show for me because you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Who nowadays would have their boss over for dinner? And of course, back then, you gotta expect the wife to cook the dinner and everything. It's so ridiculous thinking nowadays that you're 100% right.
Yeah. And then, this past episode, the very 80s themed episode was also the one that had the seriousness. You didn't address, you never addressed that in the old times. That didn't happen.
Right.
But now, they got a dog, and then, the dog died. And
you read the Vision, right? The comic? We talked about that before.
We've talked about it, but I haven't read it, no. I'm familiar with like, this is where they based a lot of that idea off of.
Not just the dog, how the dog died, what the dog died of. It is to a T what happens in that comic.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That is a nice pull. It's a slightly disturbing pull, but also very disturbing. I appreciate the attention to like, hey, so this is a thing thrown in for people like you who've read that.
Yes.
For sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What her whole deal is, and like her husband Ralph, who works better in the dark. There's so many hints of what she's talking about. Do you know who they're hinting at?
I don't know. I follow the same theory. Like,
okay.
Because I think we talked about it the last episode.
I think we did too. Yeah.
Because I'm not a fan of where that's going.
They're doubling down on it.
Yeah.
Every episode, especially this one, where she's like, "Yeah, Ralph sprays this stuff on me," and it's just. Oh, they're setting it up perfectly. I think it's actually set up beautifully. I know that you don't like that. That's the road they're going down.
I worry.
It could be more perfect.
I worry about what it might mean going forward. That's my only thing.
Why? What about that bad guy? Do you not want to see moving forward?
Because that's where we got one more day.
But that's how you're going to fix Spider-Man's problem.
And that's how they did it in the comics, and everybody hated it. Here's the thing. Here's why everybody hated it. Because it was a literal Deus Ex Machina in a sense. And it also highlighted the fact that if you introduce this problem, it breaks the character.
I think what they're going to do, I don't think they're going to make it so in the comic. What's his name?
Mephisto.
Yeah. He's essentially the devil, and there's only one in the entire multiverse, which makes sense as the villain for Doctor Strange.
Sure.
It also makes sense for Spider-Man. I think what's going to happen is people hated it in the comic because they knew that what's-his-face wanted to break up Spider-Man and Mary Jane because they were in a happy relationship. They were married. The difference between the MCU and that is that doesn't exist right now. So I don't think Mary Jane or any of that is going to play a role, or not a role, but that's not going to be what Spider-Man hangs on. I think it'll be something completely different. I think what will happen is Spider-Man might get his wish about where everyone forgets him, but I think that's what cracks the multiverse and spirals everything into suddenly you got all of his villains from the multiverse coming after him, which could be considered a bigger problem than people knowing you're Spider-Man. I think that's what will happen, and then that will lead into the multiverse of madness. I don't think that people hate in the comics because they like Spider-Man with Mary Jane, and they knew that going into that all of the editor wanted to do was break them up because he was getting word that they were going to do that over in DC, and that was it. I don't think it will have the same kind of backlash here. Does that make sense?
I agree with that, and you make a really good point there.
I think that's the route they're going. I don't think they're going to break up because they're teenagers. They're not even married or anything like that. And here was
the thing, because that was one part of that deal, like that, because the whole thing with removing Peter Parker's known identity as Spider-Man was a spell weaved by Doctor Strange in the midst of all this. He was a part of that. The deal with Mephisto was trading the marriage because Aunt May had been shot.
Right. It was him picking his marriage over Aunt May living. Exactly.
Yeah, other way around.
Or yeah.
But it also tied into all of that, and it was convoluted, and it was and yeah, it was just kind of, it was the thing. The biggest problem was they wrote themselves into a corner, and how do they get out of it? And I think it's a fair statement that it's going to have a different impact in the movies than it did in the comics. I agree with that.
And I have so much more faith in Kevin Feige than I do on, I forget the name of the editor that pushed for that. It wasn't Dan DiDio, was it? Or
I don't think he was editing.
It wasn't him.
He wasn't the editor at the time. But I mean, it was because Quesada was one of the writers on that. Him and J. Michael Straczynski, of all people, from Babylon 5, and he did Superman too. I don't remember it being bad, but I don't remember who the.
Well, it was the editor who left DC Comics and went to Marvel Comics, and he knew that they were going to break up Lois Lane and Clark Kent.
It was Alonso. What was his name? Alex Alonso.
Alex Alonso. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why they did that with because they were like, well, Superman can't. We need to break them up, and Spider-Man can't have a wife. That ages him up. He can't be. You can't have these. They're not going to like him if he's old, and it's stupid. And I'm completely on board with you that you're going to have such a huge backlash, especially because comics are kind of like wrestling, where it's just never ending. You have to do better stuff than that. Where the MCU is more, it's not that, right? Like, it is, I guess, never ending, but it's not on the same page as something you get weekly, if that makes sense.
Right.
I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I think it's going to be, I think that just like anything else from the comics that they bring into the MCU, it's not page for page. They're taking the name and they do a twist to it. So that's what that's what's exciting me for, because I'm like, all the pieces are falling into place, and it actually makes a lot of sense why they would do that. And how that would set up a multiverse, how that would set up what we're hearing about Spider-Man, what we're hearing about Doctor Strange. It makes a ton of sense.
It is gonna be one more day, because there was, oh god, okay. Because I can remember when I know where the alternate Spider-Man are coming in. It's not going to break the multiverse. It's because there was, and again it might, but I see where they're going to draw the parallel from the comics. Because I remember, because Peter goes to like everybody. Like I think he goes to even like the High Evolutionary at some point, trying to find a way back. And nobody can help him make this. Nobody can help Aunt May. And he follows this little girl, and in traditionally creepy "the devil made me do it" fashion. It's a little girl who's like, I can fix your problem. Come with me. And he runs into, I don't remember who was it. I don't remember if it was Madam Web or not, but it's a woman who shows him alternate versions of himself, where he's made different choices. And I think that's what we're going to see. I also don't think it's going to be clips from the old movies. I think it'll be new footage. But that's Oh, I had forgotten
Well,
about that
no,
because I've tried to forget a lot about One More Day.
well, I hear you. We do know Electro. Jamie Foxx says he's not playing the same Electro that we got before.
Yeah,
So that
yeah, but that could mean a couple different things though too. It could that and that's the thing though. If it's an alternate version of himself, it may be a different. It may also be a different version of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Like
yeah,
it may be say it may be the same but different. You know,
right,
I
right,
I just remember how much this thing gave me a headache.
right.
Because like he even tried to go back in time, and he tried to do it himself and screwed it up, and that was where Doctor Strange came in. Was like, don't. It was because like he had to fix him. It was like, don't do that again.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen in here. I think he's going to break something.
That's
He's going to desperately trying to figure out how to get people not to know his name.
I wonder though if something happening to Aunt May is going to be the catalyst. Like
That could be it.
like him being outed as Spider-Man, I think is something that he would find a way to like he would hate it, but he would find a way to deal with it without going to these extremes.
Well, now everyone's a target. How do you protect
Exactly.
your
And
kid? How are you going to protect your aunt? How are you going to protect your friends?
yeah. And I think that's the thing. Something it may not be Aunt May. It may be it may be Ned. You know? But
True.
something is going to happen to one of three people.
Right.
It's going to be either Ned, MJ, or Aunt May. Something is
It's got me excited. I
some
mean, it.
I will say this. They can only do better.
If what you're saying is true, it makes me feel worried about those characters, and I think that's how I should feel.
Yeah, and that's
Not right.
that because that was how that's where I think the story's going to go. It's not just going to be everybody knows I'm Spider-Man. Oh God, what do I do? I think because he's going to have he exists in a world where everybody is out in terms of
Yep,
superheroes and identities. Everybody knows who Captain America is. Everybody knew who Tony Stark was.
I agree, but I
But
think Spider-Man should be handled differently than
oh,
that.
absolutely, especially
Him
because he's a kid.
right. That's like half of his stories is him dealing with
Right.
being Spider-Man and also trying to protect his family. Right. So
Right, and I think that's going to be the consequence. It's going to be the thing that the thing that he's afraid of is going to happen. Somebody, one of the few people who is very very close to him, is going to be hurt. Something is going to happen to them, and that's just like in the comics. That's what pushes him over the edge.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And
And they've been shooting this now, so like this is supposed to be coming out at the end of the year, right?
I thought it was next year.
I'm pretty sure it's this year.
I think it's next year.
December 2021.
Is that the is
That's
that
the official release date.
it,
Or
it,
that's of course it could change, but they want Spider-Man into this year. They want uh Doctor Strange March next year.
okay?
That's why I'm thinking I don't think they should do it too far apart because I really think Wanda is going to lead into that, and then that is going to lead into Doctor Strange, and this is going to be kind of the underlying thing of this phase.
Yeah. Let me have. All right. I'm trying to find like the most up to date.
Which I'm all on board, man. That's a villain that could be a Thanos level villain because of
Oh hell yes.
what he can do,
Pun intended.
his power. Oh yeah. Oh yes, dude. All the little hints, man. I've been going back and watching WandaVision, and anytime she talks about Ralph, it's
Yeah.
it's
No,
just
I
every
I
hint.
it wasn't until I had seen that idea. Like I never would have come up with that on my own. But as soon as somebody said, "Hey, what if it's Mephisto?" I was like, "Oh, all this fits, and I
Yes.
hate it."
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I saw that. I saw that too.
Yeah,
Um,
December 17th. That is the newest updated.
yeah.
Okay.
He came
I
out and said it was the most ambitious standalone superhero movie ever uh, tried or created.
yeah.
He believes that. So, hey, I hope it is. But, babe, let's get back to Wanda. Actually, I don't know. We got spun off on that, but
Yeah.
yeah, dude, I love what they're doing with her character. How they're bringing all this, when they're doing the baby stuff and she comes in and she sprinkles the stuff on her, like, she's up to something.
Yeah.
And a really awesome scene is where she knows. It's like, so there's certain characters in the show who can't snap out of it, but she can snap out of it because she's like, hey, should we take that take again?
Yeah.
But when he goes to the one guy and he zaps his brain.
Yeah, he has to physically lift that from Norm to get him to see to reach the part of him that's not this controlled facade, but also to find out that he's awake under all that.
Yes, he's awake under it, and it turns into a horror immediately.
And it's no wonder it hurts. It's like, it's no wonder he's in pain if he's aware of all of this at the same time he's doing all this. Like, that's I can't imagine.
Yes. Yep. And I like how they've showed the hex throughout all this, and I love how they kind of brought it in and they're calling it the hex.
Yeah.
And it just goes right to Wanda's powers. Like, it's so well done.
It's why I feel she has to be Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
That's gotta be who she is. There's no way.
Yes. No. She absolutely does. No, but I mean Hex for Wanda.
Well, yeah.
Did they show it this episode, or was it the previous episode where they showed her? Where they come back and they're like, "Hey, we need to retake your tests again," because it came back blank.
The last episode, I think.
It wasn't this episode. It was the one before that.
I think it was. I think it.
Oh, okay. So, did we already talk about that then?
Maybe, I don't. Either way, like, it's Let's not look over the fact that that's really weird, and they've just not talked about that yet.
Yes. Oh yeah. That it was Monica, right?
Yeah.
Monica. I forget her last name, but
Rambo.
Yes.
Monica Rambo.
Yes. That's it. Yeah. And okay, so we probably did talk about that last week then. What else happened this week? Yeah, she breaks character. One of my favorite parts was the credits were rolling because she was like,
and they're trying to. Yeah, she's like, nope, this episode's over, but Vision is fighting it.
Yes,
and that scene was so weird because you're always I don't like. I was sitting there just like, is it just gonna cut? Like, when we get to the end of these credits, is that just going to be the end? Like, what the hell?
I was like, I've never seen this before. They're just talking over the credits, and then it just keeps going, and it was so eerie and awesome. And I had this just like, there's so much of this taken from the Vision graphic novel, even though that story is very different. The Vision creates his own family, but it's almost a commentary on modern day families, and it's almost like when you're reading that comic, it's like Vision's idea of a perfect family is almost kind of like what television shows are.
Right.
And when things go south, he's like, well, that's not how you're supposed to act. You're not supposed to do that. And like, it's so eerily similar, especially the dog stuff. Oh, let's talk about the kids. And then Wanda's effect, she has no control over them.
Yeah, kids, you can't control them no matter how hard you try, which is a fun parenting joke, but also a little like, oh, okay, but why?
Yep.
She controls literally everything else.
Mm-hmm. Tommy and Billy, and I think what's gonna happen, like, because in the comic one of them is oh God, what are their names in the comics? They are...
Well, Wiccan and Speed in the comics.
Wiccan and Speed, yeah. I think they're literally just going to look at them and go, hey, I like your powers. I want to do it. Oh, I like my uncle's powers. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. And let's talk about that.
Yeah, man. And so when they knock on the door... I saw the gray hair. I was like, okay, that's Quicksilver.
Yeah, I love that it's also that great in the style of like the 80s reveal. You see it from the back first.
Yep.
And it's the jacket and the hair, and you're just like, oh my God, they really brought him back.
They got Uncle Joey in.
And then you cut to the front, and it's like, it's not that one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So they went ahead and said, yeah, let's bring in the Quicksilver from the Fox movies.
Yep.
What in the absolute hell?
Yep. I sat down with my friend the next day, and I was trying to explain to her like what was so fucking cool about it. She's seen the X movies, she's seen that one, and she's seen the Avengers ones, but she doesn't know which ones she's seen. Blah blah blah.
Right.
It's like you got to see this, and she knows the difference between one's Fox, one's Disney.
Right.
And she remembered WandaVision. I showed her a little bit of that. She remembered Vision. And then when it got to that scene, she was like, holy shit, are you kidding me? Like, even she understood.
Yeah.
That's the guy from the other movie. That's not from the Disney stuff. So, like, dude, this is so huge for the MCU. So huge for the show. Like, it.
And God bless the writers for having Darcy drop the most fantastic joke of this entire show.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, she recast Pietro?
Oh yeah, they're totally they're basically us. Like they put those characters in to be like, oh, that's you.
They're somebody who's only seen the Marvel movies because they've only lived in that universe. So they're like, wait, this isn't him. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand why this is happening. And we're sitting back here, the people watching the show about people watching the show, and just freaking out.
Yep.
Oh man, it's, the next one goes up in a day. I'm excited. I'm hella excited.
I'm curious who Rambo thinks the astrophysicist is, where she's like, I know an astrophysicist that would love to help with this. I'm curious if that has anything to do with the Fantastic Four or maybe someone we already know. But like, I don't think that was a throwaway line. What I'm talking about?
Was it Monica that said that, or was it Darcy?
It was Monica. She was saying they were talking about getting through the wall or whatever.
I'll have to go back and rewatch that. Because I thought it was Darcy. Because then that makes sense. Because it would be Eric or Jane.
No. It was her.
If it was Monica, then that's a Fantastic Four line. Yeah, that's Reed Richards.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I was thinking it's gotta be someone Fantastic Four, but who knows?
God, if they bring mutants and a Fantastic Four in the same show, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with myself.
So I was watching like an Easter egg video, and there's no spoilers in them. What they did say though was that this is not the only big surprise this season. There's going to be more. They didn't say anything else besides that, but they said that...
I'm not surprised. I mean, like, look, we know...
It was interviews with the actors. They were like, oh, there's big things still to come. This is not the only thing that's going to surprise you. So I'm still excited. Like you said, this could be a way we see more Fox characters, like Fantastic Four.
I really think that's what's happening here, is that they're they're going to bring Fox properties over, or they're going to... This is what and not just like, because I don't think we're going to have anybody from the Fox Fantastic Four movies, but I think this is going to set up, like, I still think we're going to get Reed Richards making an appearance at some point.
Yes, I think we're either going to get Reed Richards, we're either going to get an X-Men, maybe Magneto.
We've got an X-Men already.
Well, no. What I mean is, like, if we get one of those big guys. Quicksilver was fun in the X-Men universe, but he wasn't like one of the big. You know what I mean? I think it would be huge if Patrick Stewart rolled up, right?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen. Doctor Strange could totally happen if they are going to set this up in.
Yeah, but I think that's that's not a giant surprise. Excuse me, a giant surprise though. Because I think they've already confirmed that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they've already, because they've talked about how intertwined. Because when they announced WandaVision, they talked about it was going to lead into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse.
Right. That's what I mean. I heard that. So, okay, I guess we're saying the same thing. So I would not be surprised if he shows up.
But I think if they're going to talk about surprises, Doctor Strange is not going to be a surprise.
It'd still be fun though.
It would be. Oh yeah. Oh, and
popping up.
Yeah, and I think he'll be here. But
we still don't know who the FBI, the undercover, or not undercover, I'm sorry, what do you call it when you're trying to hide out? Well, the whole reason they're there, the whole reason the FBI agent's there, because he had a what do you call it? It's not a missing person. It's whenever
Yeah,
you're
it was a missing persons case.
yes, but it was a missing person, but the reason why it was a missing person was because he was, like when you're, let's
Oh,
say,
witness protection.
that's it.
Yes, that's
So
it.
I'm curious
Who was the witness they
who
were
was that
protecting?
because they haven't mentioned it since then.
That's true. I wonder. Oh, I wonder if it's Agnes, and she was trying to hide from Ralph, and
That's
oops,
true.
that didn't work out so well.
That's true. It could that would make actually a lot of sense.
No, because yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't talked about but no, but because they've identified
Yeah,
some of the
wouldn't
people.
he like see her and be like, "That's the witness protection"?
Yeah, they would have. Yeah, so it's not going to be her.
Maybe it's Ralph.
It might, and that would be why we haven't
I
seen him.
haven't seen Ralph.
But then that doesn't make sense for him to be Mephisto though if he's also in Witsec. Like that, that doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they'll have to answer that though, because it's like,
Oh
wait,
yeah,
what is he doing
it's
there?
like yeah, how did we get here in the first place? Like oh
I
yeah,
saw
we were looking for this person.
I saw someone on Twitter post, "Hey, can we just get a show all about Jimmy and him just going through the Marvel universe as a Fox and Mulder type,
Yes,
deal?"
absolutely. I was so glad when it was like, okay, so who's she working with? Hey, it's that guy. Like
Yep,
I was really excited about
he
that.
was great on Ant-Man. He was
Yeah.
funny.
And he's grown too. Like he's still kind of silly, but he's also he is very much grounded. Like
Yes.
he
Oh yeah.
understands the world is much bigger than him now, but
Mhm.
he hasn't lost that sense of wonder that made him actually learn that magic trick.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But I
Yeah, man.
it's just gonna get more interesting.
It's so good. Yeah, what I want to go back and watch it now. Like there's just so much in it. They pack so much into it. And it just I feel like whenever they hit like I'm like here's the plateau. Like that it can't get better than this and it just completely does.
Yeah.
So it's I should say plateau peak, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so fucking good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we missed. Oh, they really did kind of put it on that the guy in charge of Sword is not a good dude.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's just an ass.
he's a total asshole. Um, yeah, I think there's something up with him. I don't know if he is if there's a situation where he is working with whoever the villain is or like because he just wants to kill Wanda. I don't know. There's something up with him.
He's
I don't
I
know if
wonder
he's just a dick or if he's like purposely the one of the villains, if that makes sense.
I wonder what he blames her for.
Right. That's true.
What did he lose? Did he lose somebody in Lagos maybe?
That's
Like
true.
that's I really love how absolutely pointed the commercial was this week.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Like that was not there was no like we're going to hint at a thing that might be connected to a thing. No, this is a direct like and
Yeah.
I also think that that's again it's another layer of things breaking down.
And what's up with Captain Marvel? Like Rambo did not like it when they brought her up.
I know, and remember that happened in Far From Home too.
Right, where he said you don't invoke her
Dude,
name.
yeah. Now it's like
So what did she do?
I wonder if it's because she's just not there.
Either she's not there. I mean, her mother had cancer, right? Like, so I think most people are thinking that Captain Marvel somehow gave it to her because of all this time she spent in space.
Maybe.
But like, how does that even make sense? Thor is around all these people.
Well, but and here's the thing: we don't know what we,
Right.
we don't know what Photon did after Captain Marvel.
That's
we
true.
we see her name we see her name and her nickname up on the wall, but we don't know what happened from that. Like, where did she go from there?
One thing that did happen, it went from space, right? Like to weapons.
Yeah.
Right? Like it went from a division that was like we're the shield of space to now we're more about weapons. And again, I think it has to do with the guy leading it. Like he it seems like he's up to no good. So
Yeah, but again though, I wonder, is he just a bad guy,
right,
did something happen?
right, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I can't wait, dude. This next episode is going to be fantastic. I think.
Yeah.
It's 90s. They're like trick or treating. Oh, that's the other thing. He said, "Why are there no kids here?" And the
Yeah.
next episode, there's kids trick or treating.
I think it's because that was just. I wonder if it was just a thing that was missed. That she didn't think about.
She didn't think about, and so now they're there. So
now she has to think about it. And,
right.
And I love that Vision is slowly starting to unravel everything.
Oh yeah, I hope that I want him to continue playing Vision after this. I hope that it doesn't end with him realizing that once this ends, he ends.
Yeah,
and I'm afraid that's what's going to happen.
But I wonder. Oh, I really hope they don't make her trade the kids for Vision.
No, I don't think they will.
But I mean, they're at least in comic continuity, they're pieces of Mephisto to begin with.
That's true. But you're absolutely right. But I mean, in the comics, they're both still there right now. Yeah, I hope.
Well, they were, but they weren't, and then they came back. So.
And those are two pretty big characters, especially if they want the LGBTQ represented in both those characters. I believe both of them. So that would be a waste to get rid of those characters, I think.
Yeah.
Because moving forward, like they're I think in the Runaways, like people love them. Like for the Young Avengers, those are like two of the most popular ones, right?
Yeah.
And you have Hulkling, and I don't read too many of the Young Avengers, but I remember them being super popular for those.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a waste. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see what happens. I guess it's going to be interesting to see, like when it all comes around that Wanda's being manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's ultimately what this is going to be. Yes, it's her power doing this, but she's unconscious. She's being helped and she doesn't know it.
Yeah,
and I think that's where we get Mephisto.
And there's so many subliminal things, like they have her initials in the windows, like Wanda Maximoff, but it looks like just a bunch of daggers or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the way the window panes are, like I fucking love the show. I want to go back and watch it right now. It's so good.
Yeah. It's
the hexagons everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's gonna be something. When this finally all comes down, it's really gonna be something.
Yeah. And I like that they are, like, this is one of the... Doctor Strange, of course, he's kind of been the only magic in the universe right now. And this is really just expanding it and showing that, like... I love their reactions to her where they're like, when she realized that she brought Vision back from the dead, and she's like, wait, you can do that?
Yeah.
Like, all these little, like, wait, what can you actually do? Holy shit, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And it's a question that we've never actually had answered.
Right. And I feel like Wanda throughout the Avengers movies, she's just been messing with people's heads and stuff like that. Now we're seeing, like, her actual powers from the comics.
Yeah.
You know what I saw? This is definitely not going to happen. But someone said, what if this was just setting up Mojo?
I hate people. I hate comic nerds.
They have a point.
No, they don't.
This
I refuse to acknowledge this ridiculousness.
Tell me what villain has not to do with television shows. That if I said a villain in the X-Men universe that had to do a television show, there's only one villain you would think of.
Two.
Besides the Mojoverse, who else?
Arcade,
that would make sense. Yeah, you're right.
Now that's I'm here for.
Arcade would be a little... This is... I know it's not Mojo. It made me laugh, though. I'm like, that's funny, but that's not going to be it.
I would have looked at that and just said, man, somebody needs to stop. Just whatever you're doing, stop. It's bad for you. I don't know what it is, but it's not working.
Right. But man, Kevin Feige, he can't miss, dude. It's so good.
It is good. It's very good, and that's why it
it's
won't be Mojo.
that's why it won't be Mojo. And a couple weeks after that, we're gonna look forward to the Winter Soldier and Falcon. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
All right, dude. I think that's gonna wrap it up. It is late.
It is indeed.
We'll see you guys next week. Make sure you go to our YouTube We Geek Podcast, our Gmail wegeekpodcast@gmail.com, Twitter @We Geek Podcast. We're on all the platforms, and we'll see you next week. Captain.